Alright, it is post time here on Photo Finish Live. Major race. And away they go here in the Pinnacle Championship. And it's King Roger from in between horses who shoots out to lead along with Maccabi Lefty. And it's Molly Quirk also up there with the top trio. And it's FOMO again down at the rail. Back up to third, fifth place, that's Nero. And it's Franck in sixth here with about 5 to make up from the early leader. As they head to the opening turn, quarter in the books, 23 and change. We're heading 5 furlongs, left turning on the dirt, blinking it's over. And
What's up, my Omi homies and fellow NFT collectors? It's time for Friday Night Races with Knowz, and we got a special guest tonight, an OG photo finish player. Mr. David is here as well. What's up, David? Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
No
What's
problem.
up, David?
What's up, Mo? How are you feeling tonight?
Rob's happening, Vault. What's up, chat? Hope everybody's doing well. Friday night races, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. I got Mo zoomed in extra big there so you guys can see him really well. We got Jeff in the chat saying that he has ran, he has 15 horses and he's never won a race yet. He has a lot of questions for us. We're going to get into it, talk about that for sure. We got the homie Big A in the chat. We got Marquez here. We got Tucson Collectibles, True Stoner as always, Dan K as always. What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us. Alejandro, I think, is in a bunch of races tonight as well. We got the new player, Kurazimi. What do we have here? Kurazimi, if you need some horses, let me know. We can get you some horses. I just got JOC his first horses earlier today.
I'm naked.
Oh no, what happened to Mo? I never seen Mo with no clothes. Okay. What's up, Dr. Strange? What's up, Dennis O'Connor? Ahoy, ahoy. Shout out to all the people hanging out with us tonight. It's Friday Night Racing, and like I said, we have a very special guest, somebody who's been into the game for a while. Can you tell us your history, David, a little bit with Photo Finish, how you found it, and how long you've been in?
I was part of the original Stylish Stud Mint. I was one of those lucky people. I don't actually know where I first heard about it. I was not in the Discord or anything like that. I think probably just one of the people I follow on Twitter happened to mention it, and I clicked through because it was the height of the NFT craze, if you will. And I went to their website and I checked out the team. I was like, oh man, they've actually got a solid team. And I delved deeper into it. And I minted quite a few stylish studs, and they were all donkeys. The rarest one was somewhere in the 500s or something like that. Then I connected with the commish, who I'd been interacting with quite a bit. Anyone in the Discord would know quite well. And we both agreed that the potential of this game is huge, that it can become big business. So next thing I know, I was purchasing lots of stylish studs on the secondary market. And then when the fine fillies minted, I minted a bunch of those. And then I spent a ridiculous amount of money acquiring additional ones on the secondary market for the great breeding event, and ended up with a ton of horses that hopefully end up doing well within the game.
So did you get some pretty good Gen Zero tickets out of those?
I did. I made sure that I got some of the best horses in the game. The right dirt, soft, cheesy mutter that you guys may have seen in the early days of Beta 1 and Beta 2. He's one of my horses. He's the most dominant S-rated horse, running right dirt soft. And
You hear that, chat? Shots fired, man. He called the best.
He's the dominator. I know somebody in the chat asked, who is this legend? It's David is his name. What's your stable name, David, so people can know when they're racing against you and be afraid?
Cheese Racing, but you won't see me a whole lot. My focus in Discord has been onboarding new players. So when someone comes in, I hook them up with some pretty good horses so that they can have a decent experience starting out in the beta and hopefully want to purchase some Gen Zeros. So you'll very rarely see me personally racing. You might see some cheesy horses. All the horses I created start with cheesy.
Oh, we've seen cheesy horses.
My
Yeah.
best horse is Cheesy Hair. And I sniped her off of the market for 2,500 Derby, and I don't know who listed it. I just happened to have the market pulled up, and I've built my whole stable around Cheesy Hair. So I appreciate you for breeding that one.
Absolutely.
Perfect. What's up, Genuine? Genuine is in the chat as well, a longtime player. Dan K says, my Jamaican friends would love this game. Any real money races tonight? Do you have an update on what's going on with the real money races? They've ran about 2 so far, haven't they? And are they doing them like once a week?
They run them every day at like 11:59 a.m. right before noon.
Nice. I have not gotten into a real race myself. How about you, David?
I have not, unfortunately.
It's a little late for me, but I would get into one. It just has to be the perfect preferences. All my horses are right dirt firms because I built them all around Cheesy Hair, and she's right dirt firm. So I'm always focused on that one particular set of preferences. What's up, Ronnie Light in the house? Alejandro said he needs a cheesy horse. Speaking of which, he said you were focused on. Oh, what's up, Base Lab? Did see you there as well. He said you were focused on onboarding new users, and we got a lot of new users in the chat, and they would be interested in getting some of those nice horses so they can race. Like I said, my man Jeff up here, I want to look at his stable tonight and give him some advice, but he's racing mostly A's, and he's got 2 S minuses. So should we be able to send some of these new players to you in the Discord so that you can help to onboard them by getting them some good horses?
Absolutely. Get them linked to the Discord, and all they need to do is ask for some beta horses in the beginner chat channel, and either myself or many of the other players are more than happy to send them some.
Perfect. And Dr. Strange, yes, I would definitely consider you still new. VB Darklink's in the house. VB Darklink is new as well. I'm going to send it over to Mo Knowz because Mo's been hanging out in the Discord a lot more than I have. I have to take care of my crazy Discord. And Mo, let me know what's some good information we can get from David here while we have him.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, really should note here, there's some really good articles on the Medium. I've linked some of my YouTube videos. They're all over the Discord as well. David does some really good write-ups, again, for new players who want to, some people just need to read it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to watch it. They just want to read it for themselves. So you can find good information up on the Medium rather. But yeah, get into the Discord, jump into the beginner chat, get into general. We got David, get a bunch of other good community members as well. But I mean, my question, David, so I was curious how you found Photo Finish as well. I mean, were you in other racing game projects prior to this? Did you follow like real horse racing? Like what actually made you look at this and be like, wow, this is something I want to invest in?
I'm definitely not into horse racing, although now I'm very interested in it, having delved into Photo Finish. I'm one of those people that are a convert. I've been in crypto a long time. I'm the typical degen who's just looking to make money, but once in a while you come across those very rare crypto projects that aren't total nonsense, that aren't just pump and dumps, or that the team doesn't have the ability to execute despite good intentions, or the tokenomics are terrible. I mean, there's so much that can go wrong with even a good intentioned crypto project. So for the most part, I just play it like a casino. But on that rare occasion that you actually come across a crypto project where the team has the ability to execute, they have the funding necessary, they have the actual plan in place, and all those, and the tokenomics line up, all those critical components line up. On that very rare occasion, I'm someone, when you have that skewed risk reward or opportunity, I go deep, knowing that yes, it's still statistically not likely to be successful, but the risk reward is such that it makes sense to go heavy. So that's why I'm here. That's why I spend the amount of time I do on this game. I believe that it has massive potential. I think that it has the opportunity to become the Madden football or the FIFA soccer of horse racing.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a dominant horse racing franchise game out there, and yet you have your FIFA soccer, your Madden football, which bring in over $1 billion in revenue per year, and they don't have as well, at least football doesn't have as many fans as horse racing. Horse racing has 600 million fans around the world. The game that actually manages to become that Madden football is going to have massive amounts of revenue, and we can all have ownership in it, really, owning horses, owning PFPs for crowns. So
and like you said, it's not every day you come across a project that has guys from Madden and FIFA behind it. It's not every day you come across a project that has guys from Zynga Games behind it, with big revenue streams behind them as well. It's not every day you come across teams that, have done this before on a mobile level with millions upon millions of players and still like over 1 million active users or something, right, on their current game. So, I mean, look at the numbers and look at what they've done, right? I mean, everything David is saying is why I'm so far into this, because I am not a crypto degenerate. I'm a degenerate gambler. See, I'm on the opposite side of the fence, right? I'm the horse player. I'm the guy who's like, man, I'm tired of losing money on other people's horses. Let me invest my own money and lose some money on that. Well, hopefully win money, but we'll make money. But again, with this, being able to, own our own horses, run our stables, hopefully we get the ability to, lend out horses down the road. I think that will help for new players onboarding as well, because that's something you're looking to do. Especially when the game goes live. I mean, if people want to come in and be a jockey, I know other games and other platforms have done something similar, right? So a lending system of some sort, I think, would be really helpful when the game goes live, just to kind of get the new players in the door, right? What do you think about that?
It would be nice to have that. I very much doubt that it's going to be part of their MVP, their minimum viable product. They need to launch, and well, I know that the intention is there for them. I'll be surprised. Maybe they will surprise us, but I don't think that lending opportunity is going to be there.
What about a jockey? Then not even somebody where you can like send a horse from one wallet to another per se, but just allow access to your barn on certain levels of degree, where people
they
can
have that intention where they basically have they want to have levels of access,
right.
And they need that for entities like D Stables, the DAO, and Elon DAO. Whether that's going to make it into the initial launch, I don't know. I know that that's a priority for them, though, because they understand the value of it.
Yeah, and I've read through the white paper and the tokenomics and everything multiple times. And again, I'm not a financial professional or financial guru by any means, but I've seen tons of these projects fail already. And you said it earlier too when you talked about the tokenomics, right? I mean, the percentages to the team and the investments and everything that go out long term, I mean, they seem to be on point with some pretty good projects, right? They're not like in the high 40%, 50% team rate, right? Like none of that's going on. So I think top to bottom, I think you're right, man. I think everything you look at on this project is just, for me, it was like I'm all in,
Yeah, and I got a couple questions in the chat. We only have David here for about 30 minutes, so we're probably not going to watch this Juicy Lucy Maiden, although it sounds cool, the Juicy Lucy Maiden. I don't think I've heard of that one before. Shout out to Dragonfly Doji is here hanging out with us. I had a couple of questions. One of them was for Mo, and one of them was for David. The one for Mo is, does anyone know if Mo bought a bat cow after saying there's no point he never would? Which I thought was a good question.
Yes, because there was a point after that when they announced like 2 days later that everybody with a bat cow gets early access to the comics. And if you remember from yesterday, we had a quick stream.
I was just kidding. Okay.
No. I'm just going to finish this. The top 3 comics on DC have yet to come out. Just remember that. All right, back to David.
DC #1. And then we had a question for David from Genuine asking how many users are currently on Photo Finish, which I think is a great question.
I don't know. That is a good question. I believe that they just posted that there were 2,500 unique wallets holding PFPs and or tickets. My guess is there's some overlap there. So probably in the 1,500 to 1,800 range would be my guess, but a lot of them aren't active. I know quite a few people who aren't playing in the beta or just tried it out real quick. So I think that the real tsunami of players comes not even at launch, but about 3 to 4 months after launch as our foals start to get born and we start listing those on the marketplace.
Yeah, we kind of need that, right? We need that slow simmer in the beginning, because if we get an influx of players with no horses, that's going to be bad. So I think get that 4 to 6 month mark, get it rolling, work out the kinks, and then some sort of marketing blitz, whether it be for Preakness or Derby time, just something to get, new players, new eyes on the project.
Yeah, Derby time would be a good time for it. For the people in the chat who are new here, it's the first time coming to this stream, a couple of things that we are talking about that you might not be aware of whenever we mentioned Madden and FIFA. The designers of this game, as you'll be able to tell whenever you see the races, because the graphics are really great, are from the EA Sports team that created Madden, NASCAR, and FIFA. And also this is project that's on the Solana blockchain. And as David was talking about his PFPs, the Studley studs that he purchased, he was able to breed those to get tickets that gave you horses that are actually horses that you can race in the game. And this is just a beta version, version 2, that whenever he talks about going live, that's when the game is actually going live and it's all real money racing. What changes are we expected to see, David, people who are playing beta and learning the game whenever it goes live to real money racing? Or like, for example, we're not going to start off with 500,000 Derby. Is Derby going to be actual money that we would purchase with fiat?
That's a little bit up in the air. That was the initial intention of the team, and just recently they said they may keep USDC as the real money within the game and have Derby as a second token for people that just want to play the game for free, get their feet wet, try things out, see if they want to move up to the major leagues and play for real money at some point.
Now that would affect the staking of the PFPs and everything on the crowns, right? Because we won't want to get Derby back for staking to play free races. That wouldn't make any sense.
That's a good point. Yeah, they'd have to alter that to give you USDC. I personally don't care if I'm getting Derby or USDC as long as I'm getting some of that sweet yield from the crown.
And it sounds like you got quite a bit of yield coming from when you got in and all the work you've been doing, man. So it's cool, man. Like I said, I've been talking with you for quite a few months now. We had the commission on one of our early shows. I think it might have been the first show we ever did. I think we had the commission on. So it's good to get people like you on because again, new people trying to get their feet wet. If they come in and talk to people like me in Vault, I mean, they might get half the story, but someone like you who's been around, vested in the project, it feels good to me at least that I can bring them to someone like you who's going to get them the right knowledge, the right information, and get them on the right path, So anybody in chat, again, join the Discord and, make sure you touch base with David here.
Well, both of you are extremely knowledgeable at this point, so don't sell yourself short. But that's what I love about you guys. That's what I love about this community is everyone's willing to share knowledge because we understand as a group that it's critical that this ecosystem be highly competitive. If every newbie that comes in gets destroyed on the track and loses money quickly, they're going to go off and they're not going to speak highly of the ecosystem. We want to take the learning curve that there is for this highly strategic game that requires skill and quite a bit of knowledge and flatten it so that we have a highly competitive ecosystem.
Right. Well, also not, dumbing it down so much where it's no longer enjoyable, right? Because we need to keep we're going to keep the fun factor in, but we don't want rocket boosts on our horses that are going to make it, so we're flying past horses on the quarter stretch, right? Like that doesn't make, it sounds cool, I guess, on certain other games, but for a game like this, an ecosystem I think that we're building, I think, like you said, flatten it out, make it as, easily accessible as possible, but yet, make it realistic, make it fun at the same time and give us ways to interact, with our horses and our barns, right? I mean, that's what I think what we need going forward.
I agree 100%. You got to keep it realistic. I think that's what's going to attract the majority of those 600 million horse racing fans. Something where they go, "Wow, this is kind of like being at the track for the day. I know what's going on here." I think that there's niche for the Mario of horse racing, if you will. The Z Run type stuff, where, as you say, they have rockets strapped to them. Those can be successful, but they're not going to be the multi-billion-dollar ecosystems that I think that photo finish has the potential to be.
Right. That's why NFL Blitz went away after 5-10 years, and Madden still exists, since 1993, right? So, again, it's really important. Again, you set these foundations early, you know what I mean, and stay true to the roots. Because again, me personally as a horse player and someone who wants to stay as close to realism as we possibly can, that can create a divide. And you see it sometimes on Twitter and Discord, right? It creates a divide between the gamer and the gambler because, again, there's certain things that a gamer is going to want for their experience to keep them engaged, where the gambler is going to be like, well, that would never happen in a real horse race. Like, we can't even begin to introduce that into our game, right? Like, like class level races, right? Like, there's no such thing as a B horse in real life, but there are restrictions and, things in place in horse racing and the structure of the, stakes racing and claiming racing and allowance races that they don't say you're a B horse, but pretty much they set it up so you're a B class horse, right? They just don't tell you that, you know, you don't want to hurt their feelings, right? But no, it's they have to figure out a way, you know, to again appease the gamer and the gambler, or you know, the simulation horse player, that I think they're going to need to get on this game if they want wagering to be a thing. And we see that quite a bit too. We don't see much wagering going on, but we see plenty of people want to get horses. They want to race them. They want to name them, you know, but the wagering part of it is going to be from the degenerate gambler like me. But unless they see, you know, a full project up and running with a pool of liquidity, you know, when do they put their foot in? I think that's going to be the biggest hurdle that we have to pass going into live. And I don't know, again, you own horses, you were in very early, but what's going to be your main play here when the game goes live? You're going to be the owner, the breeder? Are you going to be the gambler? Are you going to be the liquidity? Like, what are you looking to play that role when the game is live?
I will not be running the horses. Someone else will be. I'll be in charge of breeding. I've done quite a bit of research on that. So definitely breeding, but I fancy myself more someone that's going to be working hard to bring new players into the ecosystem. I'm the person that's going to go out there to Reddits and talk up photo finish and do whatever it takes to bring in that very critical early wave of new players.
All right, so you're that guy standing at the front gate being like, hey, welcome, let me show you a good time, right? That's the guy you're looking to be. And you know what? We're going to need that, man. You know, we're going to need people like you, and we need people like Vault, you know, running shows, and I guess people like me calling races, right? So yeah, I think all together, man, I think there's a beautiful, beautiful thing kind of brewing here. And I really look forward to see what's going on next, man, because I am super, super pumped about all this.
And it's super
Likewise,
early.
my friend.
This is the beta version. We haven't even went live yet. They just started real money racing for the first time this week. So you're talking about being super early to a project on the Solana blockchain. Shout out to Greedy is in the chat. We got Michael Diggs here. Tom says he forgot about this game. Tom, get you some horses, bro. We got Crypto McPoopy Pants in the house. One of my favorites. Spaced Ben is here. What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us. We have a very special guest with us. We have David, one of the OG players on the game, and kind of a horse well. And you said that you're focused on onboarding new players, and I know you said you get them horses and stuff. What's some advice you give some of the new players on building up their stable, like strategically winning races, for example, or even breeding?
I wrote a guide so that I don't have to repeat myself over and over and over to the new players too much, and that seems to, for the most part, do the trick. You know, I basically give them the high level of, and it depends which kind of horse I give them. If I, for example, give them an A horse, I'll tell them, you know, you probably want to stick to the handicaps, maidens, maybe the occasional allowance. You want to run on preference, meaning if your horse has stars in right, dirt, firm, you want to run on that. I talk about their stats and the length of the various races and how to play around with that to find their horse's strengths and their weaknesses. And then I tell them about breeding, but I really don't go into too much detail about that. So I find that the experience, the UI UX for that is pretty solid when they're ready. And I always tell them, hey, you know, if you have questions when you get to breeding, stuff like that, by all means hit me up. But you can overload a new player, in my opinion. You know, there's so much depth to this game that if I threw too much at them, I think some people might be like, hey, this is just too complicated. So, you know, where these people are going to be sold on this game pretty quick is putting their horse, a good horse in a race, and seeing it come in the top 4 or so, and realizing, wow, this is a very well produced game. And that was really fun. I can't believe I am screaming at a virtual horse running around my computer keyboard or my computer monitor. I can't. So often people within the first race are like, I'm hooked, I'm in. How do I get a Gen 0 horse? And I think that's one of the real values of giving away beta horses. Some people have thought it was a bad idea, but just giving those people those horses, let them run around the track, and they'll go deeper and deeper themselves and ask questions. So yeah, my advice to anyone else onboarding is don't throw too much at the person, but be there to answer any questions that they have.
Yeah,
Cool.
that makes
I
a
know
lot
we
of
don't have you
sense.
for too long here. I just want to ask you one. Sorry, Volts, you have something for him, but what do you think is the one major hurdle, the one thing that we need to do before live to make sure that we're set? And it doesn't have to be concrete, but just in the first thing that comes to your mind, what do you think is going to be the biggest hurdle to get into live?
The single biggest one, man.
And I don't mean bringing in millions of players. I just mean like knowing that we're in a spot where guys like Ian and Fib and them are okay to flip that switch. Like, what in your mind, as someone who's been around again since before all of us, where do you think you would hit that sweet spot in your mind? Is it claiming races? Is it like getting a working? I don't want to put you on the spot. Maybe I shouldn't even ask you that
No,
question.
no,
But
no. It's a good question. Like lots of little things and medium things come to mind. Like you say, claiming races, and obviously you need the game to be secure. You know, solid audits done. You want to make sure that as many countries as possible have access to real money racing. I mean, there's so many things. It's hard for me to say
no, but those are
one.
good. Those are good. But
Um,
isn't it good that that's what we're actually looking at, and we're not focusing on things like, wow, the UI is terrible. Wow, the gameplay is
right.
choppy. Wow, I get disconnected every time I try to watch a race. The race won't load. Like we don't say any of those things. You know, games that I've been beta testing for EA and Sony and tons of companies now for almost 20 years, man. And let me tell you something. Not too often do I go into a beta test and walk out at the end of the day where I'm like, wow, that actually ran pretty well. And again, we're in beta. This is monopoly money. We know that. But yeah, like you're talking about, right? We're looking at like little financial things and like little loopholes, maybe legal issues that need to work out the kinks. And if that's what we're really looking at, I think we're in such good shape, man, to really kind of hit these deadlines. That's why I just wanted to ask you because I had a funny feeling you weren't going to sit here and be like, well, the gameplay is kind of unrealistic and, you know, stuff like that. So you're thinking it's just going to be kind of ironing out these details of like the restrictions on like regions and maybe gambling, stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, I've been in software development for 20 years, and what Ian and the rest of the third time team are doing is hard. You know, it's not just executing on gameplay. There's substantial legal components that they're having to work through. I mean, I wouldn't have the mental and emotional strength to do what Ian's doing. I would be a wreck. Um, and there's no way I would have invested in this game if it wasn't for the fact that the executive team has been there, done it. There is no way that amateurs would be able to execute on what they're doing. So we're in good hands. That's why we're not arguing about gameplay. You know, there's little things that are going to improve over time and new features that are going to be rolled out. But, you know, these what most teams struggle on, you know, gameplay stuff like that. That's second nature to these guys at this point, and now they have to execute on the on all the rest, balance, legalities, marketing, stuff like that. I see no reason they won't. They've been there, they've done that, and they've proven themselves to be up to the task.
And I know Paul probably has a question for you, but that's something I think, you know, because again, they've been there, done that, right? But nobody's really been there, done that in this industry, right? With the gaming, gambling, we're moving from a niche market inside of a niche market, right? Like there's a whole bunch of variables here that I think it actually change every day, right? Moving the goalpost, so to speak, you know, whether it be, you know, federal restrictions, legislation, or, you know, dealing with international type laws. I have written up emails and notes to Ian and the team about, you know, gameplay stuff. Never in my mind would I be like, hey, by the way, get your financial crap together, right? Like, because again, like you just said, right, I wouldn't even want to think about the nightmare of dealing with the logistics of that. So the fact that they're doing it at all, and it seems like everything is moving forward, like we're okay with that. You know, again, trust the team, trust the process, trust what they're doing, and I think they're going to take us to the promised land, man. I'm telling you, every day I find somebody new in the street, and I'm just yelling at them about photo finish. It's ridiculous.
The key word that you used there was process, and I think that everyone needs to understand that this is going to be a process. I remember way back, because I'm old, when PayPal first launched. you can use it in a whole bunch of states. It just plain wasn't legal. And they were only in the United States. But what they did was they were able to roll out this really high quality platform that enough people had access to. Enough people realized, wow, this is something special. I'm going to use this. I'm going to tell my friends. So they reached what's called product market fit, where where basically it grows on its own because it's something people truly want. And from there, state by state, country by country, they began to expand and open up so that it could grow over time. And now PayPal is in pretty much every country that it's allowed to be in. It's in every state, etc. And it's going to be a process for Photo Finish Live as well. When we first open up, it may be a little bit frustrating to some players that they aren't able to do exactly what they want. But as you say, trust that process and it'll expand over time. If we don't give up as a fan base, as a user base, Ian and company are going to continue to execute and expand, and all of a sudden we're going to hit a tipping point where it's going to get nuts.
Absolutely.
Yep, and that's why people like you that need to be at the forefront, you know. So, well, nobody want to keep David all night. Do you have anything else for him?
Well, you said you didn't mind going just 1 minute over, and I know Dane K's been asking a question, and he just won a race. He won the first race of the night, and we didn't say anything to him about him winning a race, so I felt like I should at least give him his question. He wants to know real quickly if you can let him know a little bit. I mean, this is kind of a tough question, but how much weight do the stars have when it comes to their preferences? Can a triple star across the board A+ beat a S-tier horse that maybe has low stars in their preferences?
They can. It's going to take a special A+ to beat an S, and it doesn't even have to, but it absolutely can. I have a horse, which I think I might have given away, called Cheesy Cheese, and it was an A+ 333 across the board in stars, and I would run it in G1s, and I would win on occasion. And that's one of the beautiful things about this game is you don't know exactly which horse is going to win because they have the such a quality algorithm, a racing algorithm, where you have an idea who the favorite is going to be, and sometimes that favorite wins. But in order to have an experience like you have in real life, you have to have your A+s win against those S's on occasion, right? So it absolutely happens, but it does need to be a pretty special A+.
And being a handicap,
then of course, if you go down to handicaps, you'll see A horses smoking S's on a reasonably regular basis. So, that's another aspect of the balance of the game is they're really working hard to make opportunity for a positive return on investment for each tier of horse if you're smart and use good strategy.
Absolutely, and we've been preaching that a lot during the streams. I have to echo the sentiment in the chat. Everybody agrees that you've been a great guest, and we've definitely learned a lot from you. And we now have somebody that we can send some new users to, so they can have a person to help onboard them and get them into the game easier.
Seriously, guys, don't be shy about asking for horses in Discord. We love onboarding new people. I thoroughly enjoy it. Ask as many questions in Discord as you have. We want to make sure you are as dialed in as you want to be. Hopefully we'll see you on the racetrack and everyone that ends up benefiting from this game.
Yep, and he tells the truth, chat. I bother David probably more than anybody should bother any other human being on Discord. But he is great, man. He's helped me out quite a bit here my whole journey, and sure we'll continue going forward. David, man, really appreciate you taking the time hanging out.
Thank you both. I really appreciate you having me on, and thank you so much for these amazing streams that you're doing. You guys are really fun to watch and very talented.
We
yeah, man.
have a
Thank
good
you.
time doing it. Absolutely. Thank you, David. Appreciate you.
All right. Y'all take care.
All right. You
Have a good night, bud.
And apparently, the rumor is that we're getting Ian coming in here in a bit. I don't know if that's a true story or not. I don't know. We'll send the actual photo finish live and invite and see if somebody pops in. I have a particular question or something. Oh, that's the wrong one I sent him. Let me send him a Zoom invite real quick, and we'll get Ian in here, who is, what would you say is the best way to describe Ian?
Ian's the founder. Ian's the founder, man. Yeah, he's like the guy.
The one. He's like the David Yu.
He's the guy. He's the Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't really watch Star Wars, but isn't Obi-Wan Kenobi like the guy?
Oh, I don't watch. Well, I do watch a little Star Wars, I guess, but I don't know who the guy is. The guy's Darth Vader to me. Am I wrong?
Oh, yeah. I guess that's who I like.
Yeah. Big Darth Vader fan. All right, so we're going to see if we can get Ian in here with us, the founder of Photo Finish Live. Then he'll have plenty to talk about and like I said, several questions I want to ask him. But while he's in here, we're going to be calling the races. We're going to get back to calling them. The next one, we're not going to call this. It's a 12 furlong maiden race, so it's going to be a long race. It wouldn't have been fun for Mo to call, but we're going to get in.
I'm in this one.
Are you in this one? We saw Rigor Mortis racing earlier. He got third place.
Hey, good old rigor mortis.
Shout out to Big A, says Cheesy Chicken racing in 10 seconds. Oh, he's probably in this race right here. We're keeping our eye on it. Looks like Cheesy Chicken's the number 7 horse. We usually call these races. We'll start calling them here. Let's see. I think the next one is going to be this Rancher Handicap, and I'm in this one. I wasn't sure if my horse was going to get picked or not. And it looks like Rinsed Ryan. This is a horse that I just bought off the market. He's carrying 6 pounds, though, so I don't know if he's going to win. Hopefully some homies in the chat are in there as well. Somebody mentioned that the marketplace was erroring on them. Mo, have you noticed that as well? The marketplace keeps erroring. Hey, we got Ian right there. What's up, Ian? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I guess I can't see the stream, but I could open it up on my TV or something.
Yeah, I usually tell people before we go live to open up YouTube on a second device and mute it. That way you'll hear us through Zoom and you can see us. There'll be a little bit of lag there. Thanks for joining us, my man. It's Ian himself. Before we start talking about Photo Finish Live, the first thing I have to ask, because I almost tweeted to you today or yesterday about it, what is this NFT project that everybody keeps talking about? They saw a preview of it, and it's like the best looking NFTs ever made. Can you give me a little more information on that?
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely the starting definition. We're purposely really trying to be vague and hype filled, and you know, some people it can be frustrating, but that's sort of the new, you know, the meta that we're going after with this is sort of, I think when you look at our last year and a half in the crypto space, was very much an extension of the way we built projects and games and communities prior. Obviously, what we did before always worked. We tried to build a very hardcore sect of players, overload them with information, tell them how everything works, and then just continue to deliver, right? Just hammer home that we are the best. We are going to make a great product. Come join us for the ride. And so I think the suites, which we did, you know, about a year ago, was an interesting experiment there of like, okay, well, we kind of like have a little bit of a prototype idea here. It minted out, you know, everyone was super bullish. And then we would start doing like, you know, weekly development updates. Hey, we just added this new functionality. Now you can chat. Now you can screen share. Now you can do all these things inside of the suites. And everyone's just like, yeah, but, you know, numbers not going up, you know, and slowly, of course, the metaverse narrative, then the whole year was a down year. And so everyone just kind of like forgot about the suites. You know, we had this long-term roadmap of all these cool things that we want to do over time, integrating the suites into Photo Finish, adding more avatars, doing all these things, and everyone just kind of like gave up on it. And so you start to realize, of course, the space is very short attention span. No one in crypto Twitter is really expecting to last and hang in a project for a year or two. That's what's been so special about Photo Finish Live, right? And so we kind of retooled our strategy to say, all right, well, you know, we've always planned this mint and these avatars, you know, basically they're called the MVPs. It's in our roadmap from April. You know, I presented that to the community in April of last year. We've been working on it for that long, 7 months, and just trying from our perspective to blow people's minds. I think that, you know, I hired Chris Wright, who's one of my favorite people in the world, just as a human, number one. And then number two, he's one of the best artists I've ever known, worked with ever. I worked with him at EA Sports. He was a Madden, you know, character and environment artist. He went on to work at, you know, huge studios. He worked on Destiny.
Yeah, I was going to say he worked on Destiny, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So these aren't like some random artists that just you guys are just picking up. I mean, these are like real deal guys in the industry. Okay, just make sure everybody understands that. Okay.
Yeah, so that was sort of the idea, though. You know, we had started the suites. I've been trying to hire Chris, just so you know, since like 2014. I mean, the guy is, again, he's one of my favorite people, and he's so good, and he's really humble, like just ultra humble, and unbelievable exacting perfectionism. Like nothing is ever good enough, and he is everything to the next level. And so I've always loved that about him. I'm similar, and but he's just way less ego than I am. But anyway, I'm trying to get the stream up. So when he joined, and I got him on board basically in April, it was just sort of like, all right, well, Chris, we want to do avatars. We want to do something special. Let's, first I had to spend a good, 2-3 weeks showing him the NFT and crypto space. And he's just like, this is all dog shit, and so, we try to step back and be like, no, it's not just about the art, it's about community too. And, this thing. But so we basically gave Chris this freedom of like, go try and figure out what do you want? What's the story you want to tell? What do the characters look like? What do they feel like? Just full freedom, and let him go from there. And it took a long time. It's been 7 months of effort with him and a team. It's been super expensive. But I mean, at this point, my thesis, which I'm actually so excited that it started to hopefully come to fruition, is that like, the 2022 year of Solana was very much like the vultures extracting as much value as possible, the bad actors doing so, the Sam Bankman-Frieds, the whoever you want to call it, just ruining all of our lives, destroying our bags. When we were all so excited, Solana Summer, it was like, we're all in this, we found something amazing. And then it's just like, here comes all these awful people. And so this thesis we had was like, it's time to change that narrative. We of course have this bravado of photo finish. We know that we're an experienced team. We know we can build great things. We can entertain people. We've been doing it forever. We love doing it. But so when it comes to the PFP era, it's like, when I look around, all of it is embarrassing to me. And of course I'm older. Like, I understand there's like 20-year-olds that might think that a Bored Ape is just really cool looking. I do not.
Yeah,
I think they look.
You.
Yeah, and maybe there's more people like me, maybe there's not, and this might be the big fail, but I think they look ridiculous. I think I would never feel cool wearing that on a watch band. I would never feel cool on a shirt because it's so ridiculous looking. And the reason people wear it now is, of course, we're all sort of lying to ourselves because it's worth a lot of money. That's why people have it. It's like, well, it's exclusive. And so,
right, well, people want to brag. They want to be, they want to be human beings and show off, and that's what we do.
Exactly. No problem. That's why you buy a Porsche. That's why you do whatever, all these things, right? And so my thesis, though, was like, I want to build something of that, quality level in terms of a community. Like, I want to be an exclusive club. I think we can foster that. We are a trusted team. We can build our way to this. But the difference is I want something that people are proud of. I want to build, as we've mentioned, the Rolex of PFPs. You would not wear a Rolex if it had rainbow stripes and had like vomit coming out of it. That's not what it is.
I mean, I might.
You might.
I might.
But regardless, exuding class and being high value is sort of the thesis there. And so we're slowly releasing details about this. And the whole point, that's my daughter, the whole point, of course, is to maintain a stranglehold on the attention of the community and as a whole. And that's the big difference. Again, we are used to, hey, come March 4th, we're going to deliver X thing. And then everyone sits back and waits, and we hit it. Maybe we're March 5th, maybe we're March 6th, we're pretty close. And but we're gonna drill it. But that's not how it works in crypto. In terms of the PFP communities, right? It's about holding attention in your place. We're always bullish. We're always got something going on. You always got something going on. And so we can do that too. We can obviously build. We have this background of actually completing things. We aren't hype machines because we actually do make stuff. So now it's about us kind of learning that lesson. And as I've tried to tell the community, it's time to play the game a little bit. Like the community, when they ask us, when is certain thing going to be done, or when can I get into my suite? Most of them are asking that because they want their bags to go up. And that's the part that we have to realize. Like, everyone right now is kind of in this speculative investor mode. Eventually the space will mature and it will be real users of real products. But right now it's very much, everyone's in on the community part as like, let's all make money together. It's a lot of fun. It's playing stocks in a different manner. As a kid too, you can be young and just, toying with this crazy swings in money. It's super fun. Right. So I think that's what we've been trying to do. We pulled the sort of Sweets community back behind the curtain a little bit, told them all what was coming, told them all what the plan was, and said, hey, we need your help. We're going to kind of slowly and constantly try and build this product up into a maximum hype machine. We will deliver. There's going to be so many cool and fun things coming up. We're not full of shit. We're not full of hot air, but we are going to do it in a very slow, measured process. So that was sort of the idea. Like, we're going to tell all our team here, tell the people that are loyalists and are, the friends of Third Time that have been here, ride or die the whole time, which we can't thank people enough. They're just amazing, the community that we've got so far. We're trying to get all of them behind the curtain with us and really take this to be something special. And so the goal of that product, it's called the MVP Society. There is no goal other than to be number one on Solana. That is it. Everything else is a failure. D-Gods and Utes are leaving. They bailed at the lowest moment of the chain. And good for them. Take their money and go to another chain. Do what is right for you as an entrepreneur. But there's a power vacuum. There's now who's going to be number one. And we think not only should we be number one because the quality is so good, but that we can deliver. We will deliver. We actually continue to make products for people and for ourselves and for the users. So anyway, that's the alpha. If you're in and you're watching this, the MVP Society is going to be a constant drip of excitement for a long time. With, again, nothing short of being at the upper number one spot is acceptable, in my opinion. And the art is the key. The art is unmatched. There's no debate or even discussion. And that's what's a great point of power for me. I don't even have to crap on anybody else. I don't have to try and start beef with anyone else. It's literally undebatable. And once we start rolling it out, you'll see there's nothing better by a long shot in the space.
I laugh because I've seen a little bit of a shift on Twitter and social media from you guys and how you're approaching this, right? Like you said, playing the game, right? And it is a game. This whole thing is a game. And I think a lot of people have watched it play out even longer than me. But the thing about the game, and I think you know this, and that's why you openly talk about it, is because you understand that there has to be an end game. There has to be a result. You have to deliver the end product, right?
Yeah.
Most of these, majority of these products that we've seen have just been talk. It's deadline. And it's like, oh, by the way,
announcements.
Yeah. Now we're just going to close up shop. Like, oh, where the hell did this guy go? What happened to the team? And again, when you come from, roots like EA Sports, Zynga, right, with backing stuff like that, working with NBC Studios and TVG, right? I mean, that's not something that just you get lucky and stumble into, right? You guys know what you're doing. But when it comes to the game, I don't want to say I hope, but this is one of them times, man, where I pray that the game just works out, because the game has to change, because everybody knows the game as NFTs that just go away. They lose hype. No one wants them after 6 months. And that game needs to change, right? And I think we're going to see a little bit of a shift in that coming up. But my question for you, because you said it's undebatable, undeniable with the art. Now, it looks good, right?
Yeah.
But I ask you this. What about someone like me who doesn't care about art? I need a utility, right? I need a utility. I need something like, I don't know if you're familiar with like the DC with the bat cows, right? Like they have like every 52 days, they do a drop or they do some sort of like mystery game or something, right? Keep me engaged, right? Like, so outside of the art, what is that going to look like?
Yeah, and that's what we're staying super mum on. I mean, again, I think that is the difference maker of us and everyone else. Like, we actually have plans. We will deliver on things. But I think what we've learned is from the previous year is the more utility that you put on something directly, then, of course, the more it can be valued exactly. And so you do lose that speculation. So what do I want the utility to be? In the short term, I want the utility to be that the community all has giant boost in value from when they mint. I mean, that's the upfront utility, to go from a 3 SOL, 5 SOL, 8 SOL price to 500, 600, 700. That's what I want for the utility. Because if I say, hey, every 30 days you get this token drop, you stake this, you do that, then people that are smart can go and punch it into an Excel sheet and they'll figure out what it's worth. So that's the game that we want to play. And again, maybe it isn't for everybody, right? That's why we have Photo Finish, which is an ultra thinking man's game that has all this real life utility in it. And we have a lot of interesting things that will come, but it's just, again, like the long-term vision of that, going hype at all times, making sure that everyone always is thinking about us, as opposed to like, hey, we released that big feature. I mean, I think there's a great example of like Foxy Dev, if you see those guys on Solana. I mean, just
Yeah, yeah.
unbeatable builders, like just unbelievable amount of content and stuff. But why are they valued at, 1/10 of DeGods, right? It's like, well, they just build. And that's because people put a value on what the building is. Whereas why, DeGods is just this hype club that's crazy to get into, and the swings are wild, from 400 to 600 in a day, and it's exciting. And so I think that's the game that we're playing. We've already got this steady, project, and so this one we're trying to go big. And when I think about too is like I've had this vision, the moment that we got into crypto, that and you've seen me if you follow me on Twitter or whatever, you follow our account. Every few weeks I post this GIF of that Terminator stepping on the skull of all the humans,
Yep.
with the hellscape around him. And that's been the vision I've pitched to all our internal third time people, to sort of crush your enemies feeling, because it does feel like all of this is going to eventually end and flush out. Like all these ridiculous scams are all going to go away, and we will be standing alone as the Terminator with the skulls underneath us, because we're going to deliver. We're going to be the ones to do it. But over time, it's been like, well, I was, maybe I'm still right on that thesis, but there's a lot of people still hanging in with huge value, and not necessarily scamming, just doing it a different way. I think Bored Apes it's like when we did that first Studs Mint, I was like, we got to release it this Sunday. We got to put it out tonight, because this whole NFT market is going to go bust before we get it out. I was just like, any day now, the pin is going to pop here, and it shows how wrong I was. So I think that
well, jury's still out on that, but
but it has. If I had waited 3 weeks, we could have probably minted for 10 times as much money. Everyone still would have gone up 10 times. So there's just kind of a crazy thing there that I've long thought that it's going to zero multiple times, or multiple projects are going to zero. And I think, there's still people that are strong enough to kind of keep it going, even without delivering a product, even with just purely like, let's just keep this community hyped and going. And, now it's going to be, now that they'll probably have ripped through their runway in the last year, from their mint or from and the royalties have dried up. Now we'll start to see who's really got the staying power. Obviously CT Gods and Frank, those guys probably were down at nothing in terms of spend, and so they had to take funding to move up to keep going, right? So anyway, others are ways going.
Yeah, that's what. I didn't want to get you going on that, but I don't know when to call this race here. Well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have some.
Let Mo call this race. It's in progress. I know people have been waiting for him to call a couple races tonight.
I know. I've also been getting this echoing on my audio with the races lately. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, let's join in progress.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now join this race in progress. Thank you, Ian, for joining us. We also had David on as we tune in here to the Conservation Maiden, as Destination Unknown now holds the lead here by half a length over Who Shot Ya down on the rail. And back in third, break of two, that's Xanadu and SS Romulus. And back in fifth, that's My Girl Is Mad in front of Bally Breeze, who runs along in sixth. Only about 7 lengths to make up, though, as they ran a half mile in 47 and change. And it's Who Shot Ya now, who pokes the nose in front and takes the lead over Destination Unknown. And on the outside now, sweeping up from the far outside, that's My Girl Is Mad, and it's Bally Breeze. As they hit the top of the stretch and head for home, it's Who Shot Ya trying to hold off the challenge of Destination Unknown. And it's Destination Unknown now, pulls up alongside. Awkward eye contact early, and on the far outside, it's My Girl Is Mad. Oh, she's mad, all right. As she pokes the nose and takes the lead, SS Romulus to the wire. It's going to be My Girl Is Mad taking it home over Xanadu and SS Romulus.
Shout out to Stilla Buster Stable. First time I seen that stable name. We're always seeing some new stables every time we're streaming, and that new stable just got a win. Shout out to all the homies in the chat who got some wins for the first time. I saw Big A just got his first win tonight. I don't know if it's your first win, but I saw you got one, and I haven't seen you racing with us before. And JOC, I just got him some horses today, even though one of them got sniped while we were transferring, and somebody else got that one. But he got a few of them, and it looks like he's been getting in the top 3 with a few races. All right, we'll try to keep track of some of these races and call them as they come up. It looks like we got another one in 5 minutes, and it's a grade 2 4 furlong sprint, so it should be a good one, an interesting one. Ian, we got several people in the chat that are new users to the game, like my man Jeff here, who said he has 15 horses and he hasn't won a race yet. I know we asked David the same question, but do you have any good information or any good advice to give people who are just getting into the beta now, playing with free money and trying to learn the system?
Yeah, I mean, it is an extremely deep game, but at the top level, you just try your best to match those preferences. That's the very first thing you should check, is try and get as maximum of a match on the preferences as you can. And, you know, that's sort of the on-purpose version of this game. Like, when you first drop in, if you've got a right turf firm horse, then go find right turf firm race. And that's the best you can do. And then the next level deeper is going to be, you know, really trying to find their distance that they're strong at. And so the easiest way to do that is really just to race them. Try them on 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 furlongs, or, you know, 5, 7, 9, 11, and start to look at their performances and their history. You know, check and see, okay, well, he actually ran a really high fleet figure, which is just kind of an overall score of the race when he ran on 7 furlongs. When I ran him on 5, it was not as high. I ran him on 11, it was even worse. So you start to kind of circle in on their range that you think they're good at. And then it's all about the competition after that. So if you know the preferences, you know their range, then you're just trying to find a race that you got the best shot at winning, whether that's handicap or allowance or claiming or all these other maiden versus grade 1, grade 2. That's all of the sort of intricacies of horse racing, and can be challenging and hard to understand. But typically, you know, the easiest way to think of it is the cheaper ones are going to be easier. The more expensive ones are going to be harder. And then you can look in, you know, try and find, are there requirements or are there all these other things that maybe they're going to add weight to horses that are better. Maybe they're going to give you less weight to carry, whatever it is, that is sort of the more in-depth part of horse racing. That, again, like, I didn't know all that stuff when we started making it. These are the things that we've added over time. But that's the depth is, you know, again, just start real easy at the top and then just start whittling your way down, you know, and it's a very much a thinking man's or thinking woman's game. It's about keeping track of what they're good at, what they're bad at, watch them in the race. You know, when you watch the simulation, that's a really accurate representation of what happened. So did they surge really well late? If so, keep trying to longer and longer races. Maybe they have more left in the tank. You know, there's things like that that you can try and kind of figure out and ascertain. Myself too, I mean, it's like over time, of course, we built the core version of this game came out in 2018 in Horse Racing Manager, our mobile game. And so I was, you know, hyper into the details of that game. Of course, I wrote a lot of the code with Chris and Paul and Brian. But over time, this has morphed into a, you know, much deeper algorithm. There's a lot more genetics, a lot of other stuff in there that I actually kind of don't know. And I try to actually on purpose be a little bit dumber so that I can approach it more like a regular user, rather than knowing like, oh yeah, well, your start, you know, you got to do this, you got to do that. You bred with a horse that has a bad start, you need to do this. So I actually try to think of it more like it's real life racing and approach it that way. So
well,
yeah,
that's what David was saying advice, too.
You know, that's the best advice I can give is experiment. I mean, especially during beta when it's free, you want to experiment as much as you can.
Yeah,
because real quick, I just want to follow up because, you know, David was talking about flattening it out, you know, basically dumbing it down for the masses almost, right? So onboarding is easier. And that's why I feel like I came in late to V1, and then into V2, you guys added the fleet figures, right? Which is almost like a gamification of the horse racing, right? Because, I mean, there were speed figures in real horse racing too, but it's like you guys decided to come in and say, you know what, instead of just making it a thinking man only game, let's give them a little bit of a visual, you know, with the fleet figure, right? Something to kind of just base it off of. And, you know, like I said, take a quick look. It's not going to be the end all be all, right? But it's, you know, it's a good starting point, right? So I think that's cool that you guys did that. You know?
Exactly like, you know, that was a pure inspiration from Madden. You know, when you go look at Madden, you sort by overall. And you're like, wow, that's the best quarterback. You know, and then, Tom Brady's the best quarterback. But then you go over and you're like, well, his throw power is actually why he's the best. His accuracy, you know, he's actually really slow. You know, there's all these other things that lead into that overall rating that we thought, well, you know, we can hide all that.
If you want to run like an option, if you want to run an option scheme in Madden, you're not running Tom Brady. So we all know that. All right, that's
exactly
cool.
The same idea. Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious to get you. I know we got 30 seconds till the race, but I am curious just to know or think about like, where do you think? Do we think we're in a good place right now? Because Vault said we got new barns are winning, right? I see that too. I think we're in a good place with how races are starting to shake out. I know we got 20 seconds. But.
Yeah, I mean, I can answer more later. I mean, I do think the claiming races, which should be coming pretty imminently, maybe it's next week,
Nice.
is going to change kind of everything for the lower tier, the B
All right.
grade, A grade horses.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that in a little bit of like kind of how that works. And
Yeah, we could dive into that. We got this
Yeah.
one coming up here.
All right, good
All
luck
right.
if you guys are in this race. Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we now take a little break in the action from interview night for some horse racing. Here on Photo Finish, it's a major race. 16 horse field, and they're rolling here in the Territory Classic. Molly Quirk is quick to go from the inside and heads out to the lead along with Sharpen Up. And on the inside rail, that's Saturday Wine, followed by the Stablecoin on the outside. Now back in between horses, that's Final Deer and Shoney CEO in sixth here early on. Now 7 lengths from the leader, and it's YSM Racing Club showing the way here on the opening turn. Ran the quarter in 22 and change, and it's still Molly Quirk now holding the way. Forward, this race is 4 furlongs, folks. Blinking, it's over. And it's Molly Quirk now holding strong by 2. But down the center of the track, it's John Montague and This Stablecoin. This Stablecoin is going for one last surge with Molly Quirk and John Montague. But it's going to be Molly Quirk bringing it home with ease over Larry Testa and Shoney CEO.
Shout out to
Too
YSM
bad.
Racing gets the win there. And actually, Dogs of Anarchy in the chat had a win earlier. I forgot to mention that. Congratulations to Dennis O'Connor, who's having a pretty good race night. 4 races, got a first and a third place so far. Not bad at all. And Ian, I do have some questions for you in the chat. Well, I have one question in the chat and one question for myself. But let me get to the chat one first. And I know you said you don't know all the interior details purposely about what matters and what affects racing, but we have talked a little bit and speculated a little bit about age when it comes to the horses. Does the age affect their performance? Is there a certain age where they're at their peak?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, you can usually see it in their fleet figures. You'll see them trending down over time or trending up when they're younger. I don't know exactly the core. I will say that in Horse Racing Manager, every horse's peak was actually genetic, part of their hidden shell. I assume we did that again, which means that some horses are bred to last longer or to be late bloomers or early bloomers, right? I mean, it's obviously similar in real life where you're seeing these Derby horses are, of course, reaching unbelievable strength and power at age 3. Whereas, my 3-year-olds still have a long way to go. They're still like barely getting out of the gate, in real life. So
I definitely did not get that last longer gene in real life. Just throwing it out there. But go ahead.
Well, there's pills for that, I think. You don't have to have the genetics.
Yeah.
But anyway, the hope there is you should be able to kind of tell though. And so I'm not quite sure. I haven't looked at, the stats of it or anything like that, but the idea would be that you could look at the trend of fleet figures and be like, oh, geez, this guy's hit his prime. This mare's hit their prime. Maybe it's time to go ahead and retire because it's just going to be a tough road from here on out. And yeah, so it should be moving though. It's not a static, like at age 3, they all start to get worse or something. It should
What are
be
we thinking? Like you
horse.
said, hidden genetics. Are we thinking like if the mom or dad had like a 4-year peak span, is that going to be something that's carried down, or is that still going to
Yep.
start over with a new genetic?
No, it would be bred. Yeah. So
Okay.
if you happen to find, for whatever reason, let's say that one existed. I don't even know if this actually exists. In Horse Racing Manager, it did, but there was kind of a perfect, the best case scenario would be a horse that peaked really early at 3. So they were able to be a Derby horse. And then they didn't lose that peak until they didn't start declining until, 5 or 6. So it's sort of that idea of like this great Derby horse that also could win Breeders' Cup 2 years in a row before they, move out.
Right.
That sort of early peak and long, plateau before the phase. Ideally, you would find that in one of your horses, and then you would go find another one on the breeding marketplace that had a real similar career. You'd want to find someone that was really strong all the way through 3 to 5, and then you just, hammer them and then try and, strengthen that part of the bloodline so that, yeah, if you do throw in, one that maybe is a late bloomer or something, it doesn't destroy that whole bloodline or, those are the interesting things that we always tried to do is like in Horse Racing Manager. And again, I think a lot of it's carried through is you're trying to just do this over time. And so, every one of these breeding decisions typically has some sort of weakness. You're like, oh, geez, I'm going to lose a a step of speed. I'm going to lose a step of, a right turn or something. So you're always trying to kind of do this crazy puzzle that's basically unsolvable, but you get to choose. Like, all right, well, you know what? I really want a really durable horse or a bloodline that's very durable that will also, have a really long peak age. Maybe they're not the fastest, but if I can get that bloodline really solid, 2 or 3 generations of that style, that archetype, then I can bring in a, early bloomer, super fast speed, and then maybe that'll, pop me up and I'll have just a true, monster. So that's sort of all the thought. I mean, all that stuff is it was in there. I assume it's still there. And I could always double check and make sure. But a lot of these things too, again, I purposely don't want to know. And I also kind of don't want the team to know. I know we built a lot of these things. And I wish there was a world in which we could just do pencils down and be like, all right, you guys figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, you guys go breed and figure out all the little hidden gems that we've put in there, of which there are many. Now you get to go find them.
Well, that's what I'm thinking when you're talking, right? Because in a perfect world, but I'm that guy playing like Dark Souls, right? I'm getting my ass kicked by the boss for like 2 days, because I don't want help. I don't want to go on YouTube. I don't want somebody holding my hand, So I'm like, pencils down, you know what I'm saying? Like, figure it out. But unfortunately, I'm a realist too. We live in a digital world where everybody just wants to punch everything into an Excel sheet or some sort of algorithm. And now we got this friggin' AI taking over the world. I'll be out of a job calling races when you guys implement that AI, But I mean, it's going to be crazy, man. Like, you guys have to, again, walk that fine line of like, how much information do you disclose? Because again, you guys can know everything that's in there, but legally, you guys can't play the game on live, right? So it's, everything that you want us to know, we know. And then everybody else can be like, all right, well, we figure it out. We theory craft. We do it on stream, and I see people in Discord like talking, just kind of, weighing the option, what they think. We don't know everything yet. But I think it's great. Exactly how you guys do it.
It's just a really interesting idea now that the economy is open, that we don't control the horse supply anymore. It's just a really interesting experiment with a game. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and it's so exciting to be a part of that. I know the guys from Horse Racing Manager, Dinga, Wolof, JP, these guys that played for 4 or 5 years, they know how the formulas work. I mean, they had cracked it. They figured it out. They knew all the horses to get. And a lot of them would hold that info. Then eventually maybe they would release some of the info out, and let people try it and use it. But they were just constantly experimenting. And so, I kind of look at that similarly as real life horse racing. There's like these sort of secrets that, the stable will get and they find out and they try and exploit. Eventually the secret's out. And here comes, Flightline. There's tap it in Flightline. There you go. Obviously we all knew sort of that was going to be a thing, but now someone had to release that out, and other people that, maybe didn't want to do any of that work. Imagine all the people that had to do all the work to get Flightline out, to have tap it breed and all this other stuff. It's like there can be someone at the end of the line who's just got, oil money or whatever, and is like, I would like Flightline now. Give me Flightline. And
you bring me the information and the knowledge, and I'll give you the money, and you make it happen.
Yeah, and that's such a cool idea that like we can have that little segment of people that, a little cabal of inside info of certain breeds working well together, and they're like, okay, we gotta hold on to this as long as we can, and let's breed 12 of this, and let's make sure we get a bunch of mares, and then eventually it'll come out, and then like people will be like, yes, I want that one because that one wins all the major races, and they'll pay whatever it costs because they don't care. It's the vanity of it. So it's just a super interesting, ecosystem now.
And that really gets into the in-house breeding, and I'm kind of curious as to how you feel about in-house breeding, because I know it was an issue with Zed Run, and people go both ways on it. Should you have to put your studs up for the community to also breed with, or could you save it to where you only breed them for yourselves? How do you feel about it? How do you think the game's going to go in the future?
Yeah, that's come up a bunch, and I know there's a few like super passionate people in the Discord. So I still say like I think I said it a certain way at the beginning, which is basically that you should be able to fully breed in-house. I mean, I think I said that especially because that's the way it works in real life. I kind of personally think that's fine-ish, but I think it's pretty selfish and possibly jeopardizes the game. Like we all want this game to work. It actually requires us to have much larger population of horses, right? It does not work if one person holds, an entire stranglehold of RDF or something, right? Just like, so there's certain things that like, because it is a game, these things don't happen in real life because the population's so giant now, and there's all these options. And so, there's certain things there that it's like what we're doing right now is not working either, because someone puts their setup, they agree with it, and they pull it right down. So that's dumb too. So, the idea that you would have to put your horse up publicly to be bred with, even internally, I just don't know. Again, there's pluses and minuses. So I'll let you call this race, and I'll think about a better answer.
Let us know what you think about it in the chat, y'all. Let us know what you think about it. Good luck if you're in this race. We'll let Mo call it. Here we go.
All right, we now join this race in progress. For those of you watching the Jets, sorry, you're a Jets fan. As we go up here, it's Moana now. Moana is in the lead. I'm not sure if that's a Bigfoot barn runner, but it might be. Moana now shows the way over Christopher and Walnut, who runs along in third. As they get ready to pass the opening wire here for the first time, and my calls are all messed up. Opening quarter in 25 and change, and it's Heavy Load runs up in third now to chase the 2 leaders of Christopher and Walnuts, as we don't know what happened to Moana, but we have a good idea. Now up in between horses, that's Beach Haven now in between. That's 4th place, Barshaba in 5th, and Hits from the Bong runs along in 6th here as they make their way into the turn. 10 furlongs, heading right on the dirt. Sloppy track. We know you kids like them sloppy, but it's Christopher loving it. As Christopher now shows the way by 1 over a Heavy Load. And just like that, Hits from the Bong now applies pressure from in between horses and takes the lead. And it's a break of 2. That's Villas to 5th and Heavy Load, who runs along in 3rd. And comes Cramden on the far outside, also a Bigfoot stable runner, who's now passed by Beach Haven and Barshaba. Walnuts also runs along in 6th, but is passed by Stuff's Little Girl, who's looking for room down on the rail. 3 quarters in the books as they get ready to turn for home. 1 minute and 15 seconds is on the clock, and it's Hits from the Bong, who opens up now by 2 over Velace to 5th. And Velace to 5th now is the only one chasing as Beach Haven taps on the brake and backs into 3rd. Now up on the outside with a late move, it's Honduras, Nandika, and number 12, not sure who that was, but Fib must be watching, snipes them out. As Hits from the Bong now turns the corner and heads for home. As Hits from the Bong opens up by 2. Christopher with one more final push down the center of the track, and it's Hits from the Bong. Final 100 meters, and they hit the 8th pole, but it's going to be Christopher taking him to the wire. Yes, from downtown, it's going to be Christopher over Hits from the Bong and Beach Haven.
Shout out to Alejandro, that's a chat winner. Christopher, that's the horse I sniped the other day and gave out to the chat. And Alejandro's the one who got it, and he's been running pretty well for him. Christopher gets the win. Congratulations to Alejandro. Shout out to VB Arcade is in the chat. If you guys want to get some horses, we were talking about it earlier. We were talking to a guy named David who's all about hooking up new users with horses and getting them started in the game. So if you guys are interested in that, the link to their Discord is in the description of this live stream. All right, before we get back to Mo, I got one quick question for you. For me personally, because I go to Churchill Downs a lot, I used to do a lot of betting and stuff, and I want to be able to place exacta boxes and trifecta boxes. Is that coming to the game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously all the exotics are super interesting to us. We love it. I want pick 3s and pick 4s and pick 6s and all that. It's just a challenge of liquidity, and our typical roadmap for the year is, of course, get the racing working for real stacks against each other. But adding a wagering pool it just requires a lot more people in it to be interesting. Like if you put in right now, I mean, obviously it's not very many people betting. It's not real money. But even if we had 100 people putting in real money, you do need quite a bit of a spread of liquidity for it to be interesting. If no one's on the other side of your exacta box and you drill it, it's super downer that you don't get anything back. Similarly with pick 3s, pick 6s, all that. So we have some really interesting partnerships and plans kind of working through in progress. It's going to be, I thought it was great what David was saying. It's like, I hope everyone's realizing it's just going to be a long-term thing, slowly and then all at once, where we continue to add more and more states, more and more regions, more and more providers, whatever it is, to add more liquidity into those pools, as well as doing events like with you guys. I mean, I think that's sort of the key for us to be able to all know that, all right, maybe there's no wagering during the week, there's no real money during the week, but every Friday night, every Saturday night, we're going to crank it on, and we're going to let high stakes happen. Now let's get this really exciting. That's what I think we envision once we're kind of feeling fully comfortable with the platform, that we'll start with that way so that we can turn on exacta boxes, because we do know that there's 500 people betting. We can turn on trifectas, all that, because we know that there's enough on the other side to make the bets interesting.
Nice. That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
and
Absolutely.
because that's something. I mean, I've spent so much time at the OTBs. I know they call them like gambling pavilions and stuff in other places of the country, but in my mind, like I want to go to OTB and I want to rent out. They call it the Saratoga room, right? And it's like a little banquet hall room, and they got this big glass window where all the people gambling can see in there. And I just want to rent it out when you guys are doing big money races, and I just want to put it up on the TV while we're calling races. And I just want all these gamblers, man, to walk up to place their bets on real horses and look over and see your game. And I want them to see this, man, because I wonder, like, what do you got, without giving away the game plan? You said you got smart partnerships or whatever, but like, what do you think is going to be that one thing that really propel you guys in, not from the gamer, because you need the gamer and the investor, but the gambler too, right? Like, what's going to bring them in?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the game itself, I mean, you can kind of see now with 1,000, 1,500 horse owners, you actually get a decent amount of people in and enough races to make the game interesting. Now, of course, that changes when we go to live. We're expecting it to be a much longer season, so there's going to be less races happening. So maybe that helps liquidity, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. We got to figure that out. But even in all the models, let's say that we fast forward out a year from now and 20, 30,000 horses are born, you really don't need that many owners to maintain a horse population like that. You can actually get by with 10,000 owners with 20,000 horses, no problem. You could actually probably get by with 5,000. Especially if they're fractionalizing like D stables or what have you. So you don't need a huge horse owner population. Of course, the game is hardcore. I don't expect there are like, super millions of people that really want to figure out how to own and breed horses. So that is smaller stacked. But of course, the hundreds of millions of people that love horse racing love to gamble on it. And so the long-term vision there is, number one, of course, support our current community. Make sure that gambling is easy, wagering is easy, and it works perfectly for the people that already have horses in the race. I think that's our easiest group of people to attack. They've already got, Derby in the system. They're already winning money betting against each other on the horse. They may as well hedge their bet on, a place bet on who they think might knock them out in that race or what have you.
Responsibly, though, we got to add that in. Always responsibly, yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But so, the next part is like, do I envision a world where 1 million people are on photofinish.live as purely spectators gambling on a race they've never heard of? I think that's going to be tough to imagine.
Is it though? Because if you go to Vegas, but if you go to Vegas, so like, what is it up in what's the other one by Canada border, New York? I never go there, but anyway, they have like the virtual horses. You just walk in, they got these fake horses with fake names. But this is the same thing, except there's people out there that actually own this horse. So, like, if you see this cool name and it wins a race rather, you could actually find this horse on photo finish and then bet it again when it races next time. These fake horse races, those horses never race again. Like, you just see them one time, you're betting like an algorithm.
That's definitely what we think is the strongest part of our product, is that it's not a coin flip. It is actually, a skill to find a winner. You could look at their bloodline for years and prior and see all their history and all that. So we have the best virtual product for betting. But so my point is, to answer that, it's not that I don't imagine that they'll do it. What I was saying is, will they come to our destination site and sign up? That's the part that to me is a little more of a stretch. Would they do it if they already had an account at BetMGM or DraftKings or FanDuel or something? That I feel a lot.
That's
more.
What I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. Like, is there something in that we're looking at where it's like we can broadcast this overnight on TVG when they have no races? Can we put this up at OTBs or pavilions, like I said, when there is no races, right, to generate business with the digital economy for like real physical businesses? I know it's really starting, but that would be something I think I'd be really interested to know about,
Yeah, no, that is the long-term goal, to add more liquidity. I mean, I think the challenge is that there's already a lot of horse racing on, so you do have to find the dead times. But I do think that the biggest difference is that there are people doing this already. There are tons of virtual sports horse racing betting sites out there that are all nothing more than coin flips. So every single one of them, I know we should be able to replace because it's a lot more of an interesting product.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I got voice on. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to do it. All right, I guess we're joining this one in progress. Sorry about that. Pale Arrow takes him into the lead here as they run around the turn, and he's 8 furlong, right turning affair on the dirt. Track is soft, smoke is good, and as JOC shows the way now over OEB Racing, that's Woodman Arms carrying 2 pounds over Angia third. That's a break of 2 down the rail. That's Can You Dig It? In front of Nasdam Lateral runs along in 5th. Then it's She's Genuine jockeying for position here in between horses, looking for room. Running along in 6th with about 10 to make up from the leader. And that leader is Pale Arrow. Pale Arrow now in the soggy rain is carrying the pack here along the backstretch. Opens up by 1, but now has company by 1, 2, 3. Make it 4 on the inside as Woodsman Arms goes right on by down the rail and yoinks the lead. Now it's Woodman Arms being challenged on the outside. That's Nasdam Lateral and Pale Arrow now trying to recharge and look for room once again. But it's She's Genuine and Angie who passes her, and it's Woodsman Arms now all alone as they make their way into the turn. 3/4 in the books, 1 minute 13 seconds, and it's Woodsman Arms, and Woodsman Arms now has a new challenger is Angia, and it's Angia now who goes up the center of the track and takes the lead. But it's Angia trying to hold on past the 8th pole as Angia and Pale Arrow now is falling out of it. It's potatoes from everyone down the center of the track, and it's what's his name? Go to the room, but back on the rail one more time. It's Woodsman's Arms one more time for the goose and the gander over potatoes for everyone and Angia.
Shout out to OEB Racing gets the win with Woodman's Arms. Came out of nowhere to get
Wow,
that
what a
win.
comeback.
That was a
Holy
nice
crap.
race. Yeah. Shout out to Michael Diggs's horse Tiger Styles in there. And I saw the name of your stable for the first time, Diggs. I like the name of your stable. It's like something about Shaolin. Steeds of Shaolin. That's a good name. Let's go. All right, guys. Tomorrow night is Foles Day. It's the first day of the new season. And I know we got some new users in the chat asking a couple questions about it and how the seasons work. Since it's in the beta version, seasons are 1 week long. And Ian, whenever you go live, are the seasons still going to be 1 week long, or are you guys going to make them 1 month long?
Yeah, the plan was 4 weeks when we go live for real. So it just kind of spreads out. Again, much more thinking man's game. So once a month is when the horses would age.
Perfect. All right, yeah, and you were asking when your horse can race. If it says here can race in 1 season, like my horse right here, Hot Sauce, that means it'll be able to race whenever this season ends, and the season ends every Saturday at 7 p.m. during the beta. It's 1 week long, so at Saturday at 7 p.m., I will be able to race this horse. It'll be ready to go, and Mo Don't Even Know says can race in 2 seasons, so this will switch over to 1 season, and then a week from tomorrow, I'll be able to race that horse. So that's how it works. Whenever you breed a new horse, you got to wait 2 seasons before the foal is old enough to race. And if you want to breed a horse, as we mentioned before, if you're new though, you might not know, you have to retire your horse to breed it. And then once you retire it, you'll be able to see its stats, how it runs on start, speed, stamina, finish, heart, and temper. And during beta version 1, those stats were all available for us to see before they were retired, and we kind of determined how we wanted to race our horse determined by those stats. What made you decide, Ian, to remove those stats and to show them whenever the horses retire?
Yeah, that's a quick one. I just dropped in the chat. I've probably got to go here. The kids are I need to get put to bed. But the quick answer to that one is just really that basically it was too predictable. People were able to kind of figure out the algorithm too much in terms of the race. And so when we want a game that is very exciting to wager on, there has to be a little more unpredictability, if that's the word. And we actually ended up really liking the way it turned out. That's why we added the fleet figures, to give you a little bit more info there, instead of just taking everything away. But I really liked that it sort of turned the game into a racing game and then a breeding game. They're very two clearly different things, right? At the racing, you're all trying to figure out, experiment, try how it goes. And then you get into breeding, and now it's like you've got a lot more of the info. You're trying to kind of piece the puzzle together differently. You have a lot more info at your fingertips, but it's, of course, like trying to maximize your value of your studs and mares at that point forward. So, yeah, that was the reason. Again, I think it was one of the streams that we tuned in with you guys really early on, and somebody was on and basically predicted every single winner. They were on here with you guys, and we were like, yeah, number 2 is going to win this one. I think number 4 is going to win. And the only thing that would be wrong is if it rained when it wasn't supposed to. And so that was our sort of moment of like, all right, we got to take all that away. That's
well, this is way better. Yeah, this is way better. Like you said, thinking man's game, right? Like put down the pencil from time to time, figure it out, and man, we really appreciate you jumping on. This was impromptu, didn't want to, throw anything too crazy at you, but we do appreciate you taking some time, man, hanging out.
I can take it. I can take anything, but yeah.
You can, always, and that's respect, man, because most people can't take it,
I love watching the stream. I try to tune in on my phone at least every single Friday and Saturday, even if I'm lurking or not. So happy I could jump on, but yeah, kids are going crazy. But keep it up. Of course, anything we can do to help support, you guys are the best. Thanks so much.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you,
Awesome.
and you're welcome back anytime. Just let us know.
All right.
Thanks,
See you.
Ian. Very cool to have Ian on the stream with us. That's the first time we've ever had him on the stream. Might be like the first time I ever talked to him. He seems pretty cool, especially for a founder. Sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He's put together a really awesome team. Like that we've been talking about. They come from EA Sports, so they know what they're doing. And as you can tell from the graphics, that's why it looks so good, and that's why it's attractive to people. Crypto McPoopy Pants in the house. I know he's got a horse in this one. Bonk, bonk, bonk. He says the 27-1 winner is the biggest we've seen. What do you mean by that? Were the odds 27-1? Because we've seen 99-1s and 100-1s win all the time, but that happens whenever nobody else bids on the horses. Only one horse gets a bet. Then all the other horses are 99-1. So maybe I'm not sure what you mean by 27-1. Is that a race where nobody bid or nobody bet?
Yeah, it might have been like the morning line stuff.
Gotcha.
It is,
Okay.
and again, it is something if I had to critique anything about the game, and I feel like it gets better every week, but it's just some of the pacing of the races, right? Because favorites in real horse racing only win like 32.96% of the time or something. So, I mean, I would like to see a little more variety, I think, from maybe longer shots, but again, that could just come down to, the horses out there they're running against.
Yeah, if I go to Churchill Downs and I stay and race all day and bet on horses, I mean, at least 2 or 3 long shots come in. That happens. I mean,
Right.
I don't say it happens all the time, but it happens once in a while. And if that's the first time we've seen a 27-1 in all this time win, that wouldn't be very much like the real world, because those long shots that come in, that's why I put them in my trifectas. They come in every once in a while.
I mean, I wouldn't say they never come in. I've called races or practice calls during the day, and I've seen, 55-1 shots win. But
Oh, really?
yeah, it's not as common maybe as it should be, But again, it could also be just people picking the wrong races and stuff like that,
True, that's probably got a lot to do with it too. Not everybody knows exactly what they're doing yet. That's why we're in the beta version. We got our next race. It's a 5-furlong sprint, the full service allowance. And let's go through and see which horses are in this race. We got another new stable I've never seen before, Michael Pedroza with Thunder Silver. We got Yellow Swiss from Sandhill Stables. No Martina, another stable I've never seen before. SKLBY, bonk, bonk, bonk. That's Mick Wacky Racers. He's got the only bet on him. We got Tamara Tunisia from Big Brain Stables and Expendable from the homie Ben Spaced. That's the S-, might be the morning line favorite. Let's check. Yeah, it's the morning line favorite. But Bonk Bonk Bonk's the one that's got the money on him. Maybe Bonk 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 can pull off the upset. Since there was only one bet, though, even if he wins with that one bet, he would only win his money back. If his horse doesn't win, he loses his money. So all you can do is break even or lose your money when only one person bets. That's why we need to get Mac Wacky. My bad, Mac Wacky. That's why we need to get more people betting on these races. All right, shout out to Mac Wacky Racers. I have to remember that. Good luck, everyone in this race. Here we go.
And real quick, too, before I call this, if anybody in chat, man, if you guys, what would people think about doing non-Solana NFTs like on OpenSea?
Shows away by half a length over Expendable, then it's Yellow Swiss down at the rail. On the outside, that's No Martina looking for room, and it's Thunder Silver in 5th, followed by Tamara Tunisia in 6th here and dead last as they make their way to the first and only turn in this 5-furlong right turning affair on the dirt. Quarter in the books, 23 and change. And now it's Expendable as Expendable darts out to the front and opens up by 2. And it's No Martina rather, runs along here in 2nd, followed by Bonk 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 as they hit the turn and head for home. And it's still Expendable now, who shows the way by 2, with No Martina digging in. On the outside, that's Bonk 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 trying to catch the leader, but it's Expendable gonna take him easily to the wire. And it's Expendable 6-4-5 is your order of finish.
I think we're back live. We cut out there for a second, Mo. I'm pretty sure we're back. Shout out to Ben Space that gets the chat win with Expendable. The S- comes through and wins. Maybe we're not back. I don't see anybody.
Yeah, it looks like we're back.
Okay. Yeah, I think we had too much going on. We had a couple of guests today. I've been switching between scenes. We're having a good old time. Shout out to Mac Wacky Racers, got 2nd as well. So the 2 people in the chat get 1st and 2nd. I don't know. I don't see nobody. Is my chat messed up? Nobody's talking anymore? Maybe nobody's just talking, but it seems like, I hope we're okay. We got rugged there for a second. Sorry about that.
It's back with like way more viewers than it showed before, so something's good. Do it again. Go offline
We got
again.
more viewers, but nobody's
Somehow.
talking. Okay, we're good. Well, yeah, well, all right, let's do it again. We live. Shout out to Alejandro. All right, we got the next race coming up. It's the Staten Restricted Stakes. I'm in that race. We got 6 minutes before it starts, though, so let's get some bets in. Let's bet on this next race coming up. After the Staten is the Yukon Allowance. And I'm in 2 more races tonight. We're almost at the end of the stream. I'm in a race at 9:01. It's a 12 furlong race, though, so I don't know if Mo
I'm
wants
in
to...
that one, too, if you want me to call it. We can call it.
Yeah, let's do it. I got my horse Awkward Eye Contact. I've been waiting for you to call a race with awkward eye contact. What are you going to say, Mo, whenever that horse comes up next to another horse? Awkward eye contact is having awkward eye contact?
Doing its own thing, you know what I'm saying?
I guess
Doing
so.
the awkward eye contact.
All right, we're going to bet on this one. We got 5 minutes to get our bets in. We got Space Cheese and OG on the stream. He's always racing while we're live streaming. This is a sloppy track, so we're going to be looking for a soft horse. Left and turf are the preferences. Let's try to pick out the winner here. We're looking for left, turf, and soft. So I'm going to go through here first and make sure all the horses are left, turf, and soft. They all are except for Greedy. Shout out to the homie Greedy. Won't be betting on your horse this time. Looks like somebody bet on him, though. And you never know. He could pull this one off. But I think I'm going to go with one of these left, turf, soft horses that have a lot of stars. And I like Spaced Cheese here. He's got 3 full stars on soft. And Sloppy is like, in my opinion, the softest soft because it's the most rain. Soft is when the horse likes wet track. So he has 3 stars on soft, and I like that. Rough Jim, another spaced horse, might also do well with all those stars. But I'm putting my money on Space Cheese, even though he's the A-tier horse going against a couple of S-minuses, one of them carrying 2 pounds of weight. Dogs of Anarchy's in this one, carrying no extra weight with a horse with a decent record here. So maybe Grifta Carpet Shark. We watched Grifta Carpet Shark win a race the other day on the stream. He might end up winning this, but I'm going with Space Cheese. I like Space Cheese. I like those stars. I like those preferences on a sloppy track. And when I bet, I like to bet across the board, which means betting on the horse to win, place, or show. So I'm going to put, 500 across the board, win, place, or show on the homie Ben Spaced horse Space Cheese. Greedy wants to...
Oh, that's what I meant to bother Ian about when he was in here.
What's that?
Like, could we get an across the board option already?
That would be nice. Then I just have to do it once instead of 3 times.
I posted every week in the suggestions. I think they've seen it, but
that would be a good suggestion. I like that idea. Shout out to Greedy One says, it's all good. My horses suck. Hey, if you need good horses, we just met a guy that was on the stream earlier, David. He's all about hooking new users up with good horses. And if you guys were watching the stream while David was talking, I guess I kind of sniped this S-tier horse. I paid like, what, $4,000 or something for it? It was really cheap. It was an S-tier horse. You can see the stars are not good at all. It has won a race before. If you want, I'll put this back on the market if anybody wants this horse. Anybody want to try to race it? We can look at it a little bit. It's age 6, so it's only got a couple seasons left in it. Like I said, it's won a race. It's got some decent fleet figures over here, 75, 84, and 89 on a fast track. But as you can see, it's got those stars here. It's a stallion, so it's not like you can breed it and get some foals from it. But it's an S-tier horse. It's got some 100 fleet rating. I thought I saw 100 around here. Yeah, 100 right here. Maybe 6 furlong might be the distance to run this horse at.
Freaking sea otters, man. What the hell?
What are you on, DC or something?
Dude, I'm so tired of this new capture, bro. We got AI that can, like, rewrite freaking history, and we can't even... this capture is so bad. Yeah, I'm trying to...
I always get ladybugs. The capture thing is killing me on DC because I want to be able to snipe that DC market after it drops whenever the reveal time comes because there's always some good deals there, but I can never... It's almost like sniping is a race to who can complete the capture first, and I feel like people have a way around the capture that I don't have because I've never won that race.
Oh, really? I didn't really get out sniped.
Really? All right, maybe I've only tried a few times. I'm just getting into it recently. Maybe I'll try again next time because I feel like people are just faster. Maybe I'm just slow on the captures. I got to look for a second. You got a ladybug, and then you got these other things that are red and black.
No, the panda
also.
bear in a living room. Like, who the hell?
Everybody says, why is the panda on the couch? Why is the panda on the couch? If you own a panda, just don't let it on the couch is all we ask.
No, but then they got like the pictures all zoomed in on the panda's freaking nipple. It's like, how the hell am I supposed to know if this guy's on the couch?
No, like you said, the sea otter. I didn't know what the sea otter was. I thought it was a dog or something. Like, it's got whiskers. What is that thing? How am I supposed to be able to put captures of it? There's 5 of them. I don't even know what it is. Yeah, the captures are getting a little wild over there.
Well, I just grabbed another snipe. I'm telling you, this is a public service announcement for anybody in here that does DC. Please keep listing your maps for under $20. Please, thank you. Just keep doing it.
Wow. I want to run a stream sometime, Mo. Maybe you can do it with me where we're doing a DC stream and we're looking at all the back cow information and trying to solve the clues to figure out the whole mystery that it is, the gamification that they've added to it, because I haven't really got into it yet. Have you started digging into it at all?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to. It'd be fun to have people to do it and have like a chat to do it with. That'd be awesome.
I'm so slow. Everybody else is like, yeah, I've already started to figure it out. I haven't even started to look yet, man. I'm busy. I got stuff to do. I got
I was gonna say you're busy with
drops to
VV and doing
stream.
all that stuff. I mean,
I haven't started looking at it. I want to get into it, and there's no drop tomorrow, and I don't have a video planned or anything. Maybe we'll go live tomorrow and try to figure that out. Shout out to the homie Chris Coffee and Crypto in the house. What's up, my man? Said I'd be down for that vault, but wouldn't it be super helpful? I don't know. If I start looking at, I mean, I don't even know what we're looking for yet. I don't even know what that last airdrop we got was. The maps. See, all right. So Mo, what exactly are the maps? The maps are what we want to put everybody's maps together, right, and then figure out like a path along with the times.
yeah. So we got the maps. There was surges that started. The whole thing started off in the prison circuit, right? So basically trying to track down what happened there. So I'm thinking personally in my mind, it sounds like it's either Harley Quinn because Harley Quinn had another announcement too about holding on to her boxes, which is why I bought that. Yeah, I told you yesterday.
Yep.
I got that legendary, the epic box for $70. It was going for like 130. Someone freaking put it up for 70. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take that.
That's a good pickup.
But yeah, so basically all the maps, the people are overlaying them. We're following the surge pattern where they started in prison, and then they're following like the time pattern of where lights went off and like things were reset. But to me, it sounds like it's Harley Quinn back at it. Maybe like Doctor Strange if it
Doctor
started in the
Strange?
asylum.
Doctor Strange is in DC.
Not Doctor Strange. Dr. Hugo Strange, which is Scarecrow. Sorry.
Oh.
It is Doctor Strange, but not the Doctor Strange. Sorry.
I was gonna say if Doctor Strange popped up, that would freak everybody out. It's like it's a Marvel DC collab. We're going to the moon. All right, guys, it's time for the stat and restricted stakes. Good luck if you're in this race. Here we go. Wait, yeah, it's time, ain't it? It is time. Here we go.
All right, horses are at the gate. It's post time. Eight in the gate. And away they go here in the statin restricted stakes. And from the inside, that goes, I think, very deeply to the lead, along with Rustico. And up in third early on with good early speed, that's Camacho, runs along in front of Valorado, or Valadora even. And then it's All My Life in fifth. And OEB Racing Runner in sixth here in the Red Silks as they make their way around the clubhouse turn in this 11 furlong left turning affair on the dirt. And it's Rustico and I think very deeply who are duking it out neck and neck here for the early going. Opening quarter in 24 and change. Everybody wave as they pass the wire for the first time, and your leader is, I think, very deeply at 99 to 1, just like everybody else, because nobody's wagering. Thank you, chat. As I think very deeply now continues to show the way by 2, as Volador now makes her way up and advances from the back of the pack in the second, as Rustico taps the brakes and moves in the third with All My Life. Now in fifth, that's Camacho, who's looking for a race room here on the outside. And Mari Montagu is in sixth. Only about 7 lengths to make up, though, as they make their way around the turn and head on to the backstretch. And as we make our way onto the backstretch, it's backstretch break time. This is brought to you by Kermit the Frog here. Joining the races with VV Walt and Monos. Okay, Frog, get out of here, Frog, okay, man? Okay, man, tell you, man. Don't tell me how to get to Sesame Street, man. Okay, Frog? Let me tell you, man. The horse's eyes never lie, Chico. We got the horse races going on here, man. And it's All My Life now who gets to dig in, man. And I think very deeply is also running down between horses now with Camacho, man. And it's Rustico, you know. It's Rustico now in fourth, okay? Ah, Chico, what you gonna do about Mary Montagu, huh? Mary Montagu now on the outside looking for room, but no, it's going to be Valorada. Okay, man? Now I tell you it, I think very deeply. Okay, then now back to the ambulance. Head down the home stretch. I don't know if that backstretch break was tonight, but as we make our way into the final eighth pole, it's Rustico now who shows the way on the pole. And I think very deeply looking for room down the center of the track is Camacho. But it's Rustico looking to hold on. It's going to be Rustico taking the win over Camacho and Valadora.
Shout out to the Golden Stables, gets the win with Rustico. Had a couple of guest appearances there. Kermit the Frog showed up, and I'm not sure who that second guy was. Was it Tony Montana from Scarface or no?
Come on, man. You don't know I'm telling, man. I know it's hard with the voice, man. You know what I'm saying, man?
Nah, you lost me. I don't know. I don't know that character. All right, let me get all this set up for the next race. We got a couple more coming up tonight. We bet on this next race that's getting ready to start here in about 5 minutes and 40 seconds. That's the Yukon Allowance, and then the Goldenrod Club Stakes coming up after that. I'm in that race. I'm in a couple more races. Looks like all my horses are in the final races tonight. Rickety John is in this race. That's one of Mo's race horses. Doc Shadow, one of True Stoner's horses, is in here. Valley Happy's got Testa Boom. Let's go. We need to check the leaderboards. We haven't checked that yet tonight. And Eka Mouse, one of my favorite horses, is in this one. Eka Mouse, I thought that horse was going to be crushing everybody. It's got 10 races, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 1/3. So not the beast I expected. Joker's my beast. Joker's been crushing people. He's kind of my best horse at this point. Before we bet on that race, let's check the leaderboard like I mentioned. And wow, another change on the leaderboard. We've been streaming Beta 2 for a couple months now, and Golden Stables had been at the top of the leaderboard the whole entire time until last weekend. Finally, Solonite Stables had actually surpassed Golden Stables and took first place by a little bit. And then coming back a week later, now Golden is back on top, and Pocono Racing is in second place, followed by Solonite. So a little bit of a race going on in the top 3, keeping it interesting over there. And of course, like always, we have our third time Derby, which they do a series every week. You have to qualify to get into that Derby race. Every season, every week during beta, they have the Derby race. Right now, there's 2 horses that are entered in it. It's going to be tomorrow night. And I was looking these over early. Pretty much all of the qualifying races happen between Monday and Thursday is what it looks like. And you can see here the qualifying points leaderboard that Pocono's horse Rom Bauer is currently in the lead with 84 points, followed by Xerxes from Balthazar Mangers. And then Pocono's got a couple more horses. The stable's got a horse. Soulmate's got a few horses. And like I said, if you get enough points, do you know if there's like a threshold of how many points you need to have to qualify for the Derby race, Mo?
So I think the way it goes is after qualifying's over, as long as you had any points in the qualifying week, I think it's the first 20 to enter with the points.
Oh, you have to have any points at all?
Yeah, I think as long as you have any points, you're allowed to enter, but then it will take like the top 20, right? Because you could do, it's 20 plus can enter. So once it goes past the 20, I think it'll just rank it based on, the amount of weekly points.
So even if 30 horses enter, they'll take the top 20 in the qualifying leaderboard.
Right, exactly.
Do we know what the preferences are going to be for next week's races? That's what I'm always waiting for. As soon as they have this third time Derby series on my preferences, because all my horses are the same preferences. Right Dirt Firm, boy, when that Right Dirt Firm comes, RDF, it's over with. Eka Mouse and the Joker are jumping in it and taking over. But that's why I've picked up some new horses recently off the market. I was kind of sniping them today. I might have been paying a little bit too much. I had like 500K. I was paying like 50K each for some of these S minuses because they have some pretty decent stars over here. Rinsed Ryan's one I picked up. I picked up this foal and then Dubs Down as well. I didn't see how they finished, but they don't have great records. But I thought I would play with them around, test them a little bit, because I gave away some of my horses earlier today. Dane K, I don't know if you're still in the chat. Your horse you gave me, Omi Billionaire, I was trying to send it over to the homie JOC, give him a horse to race, and somebody sniped it. He's out there somewhere in some random stable. We don't know where Omi Billionaire went. We may never see him again. He'll pop up in a race and beat us probably sometime. That's probably most likely what's going to happen. All right, let's get the next race queued up. We got the Yukon.
Got like 3 minutes, right? Did you see the little announcement today in the Photo Finish Discord?
I saw an announcement. I don't think I read the whole thing. What was it?
We just snapshotted all 2,500 or so wallets holding Photo Finish PFPs and Gen Zero tickets for the MVP allow list.
How much do you think that MVP project's going to cost? It sounds expensive.
I don't think it will be.
Really? It's going to be minute on Solana?
Yeah. I don't think it'll be crazy expensive.
It sounds like it's going to be, I was talking about that when we had Ian on earlier. It sounds like the PFPs that they've designed for this MVP project are like super elite. Like they're saying it's the best looking NFTs you've ever seen. And then the people who got little previews of it are like, oh, it really is. But of course, Oh,
I saw the preview of it. Yo, it's sick.
What'd you see? Give me a description. Be very, very, very descriptive, sir.
Well, it was like a zoomed in shot, but I saw a lot of like detail, shading, and shadowing that only exists on like AAA games, which if the guy came from Destiny and Madden, it would make sense. The The accessory that I saw was like super detailed down to like the stamping. The shine was beautiful. Again, I'm not a PFP guy. I laugh at PFPs and board apes and all that crap. But
True.
if I know the team, I know it's like, not out of my price range and not something crazy. I mean, I would definitely grab one, I mean, again, especially knowing how good they look, it's pretty cool, man. They could be pretty neat. But I do hope they have some utility because, again, I'm not a PFP guy.
Yeah, you gotta have utility, I feel like. But I mean, people are using PFPs for more things now that Twitter and other social media websites are allowing people to verify their NFTs to use as PFPs. Love the trip in X boxes, says Dane K. All right, guys, it's race time. This is the Yukon Allowance. Our money is on Space Cheese. Good luck if you're in this race. Here we go.
All right, race fans. Appreciate everybody hanging out again on Friday night. I think it's Friday, right? Yeah, it's Friday. Thanks for hanging out on Friday night. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Maybe check out my pathetic channel and subscribe to that one. 6 horses in the gate. And away they go here in the Yukon Allowance. It's Grifta Carpet Shark takes the lead, along with River Song, who also shows good early speed. And it's Rough Gem down in third, and Space Cheese is down on the rail. As next is Constellation runs along in fifth, only horse carrying 2 pounds here in the race. And it's Sentinel Road is running along in last here as they make their way into the clubhouse turn. In this 8 furlong left turning affair on the turf. Another rainy one, but it's not affecting Rough Gem here, and they're liking it. As Rough Gem now shows the way by half length over River Song. As River Song also is now pushing them wide, and Rough Gem looks to hold on here around that opening turn. But it's River Song neck and neck, and Constellation's down on the rail, just stalking the pace. And it's Space Cheese about 2 lengths off of him, followed by Grifta Carpet Shark, who runs along in fifth here, and Sentinel Road still in last of the pack. As they make their way down the back stretch, half mile and 50 change. Make that 49 and change. As Constellation now is your new leader. As Rough Gem might have just tapped on the brakes there a little early. Abrupt beginnings here, but Constellation now looks to recover as he takes the field around the turn. And it's Constellation at 99 to 1. As we say it all the time, nobody bets. But it's Constellation now as they make their way into the final turn. They cut the corner and head for home. Constellation looks to hold on here over River Song. But River Song digs in, and from the back of the pack, it's Grip the Carpet Shark, looks for room down on the rail into the final 100 meters, but it's going to be Constellation holding on here as it's Constellation over Grip the Carpet Shark and River Song.
Shout out to OEB Racing, gets another win. Dogs of Anarchy takes second place, and then third place went to somebody in the chat, wasn't it? Yes, Deeds of Shaolin. Shout out to Diggs. Diggs gets third place. He's in the money with River Song. How did Constellation win? That's not a horse I was even looking at when I was making the bets. Maybe we'll do a little bit of post-race analysis. Let's see how long we got before the next race begins. See if we got time to check that out. Because I wasn't even looking at Constellation. That's not one I was even considering. Yeah, we got 6 minutes before the Golden Rod Club Stakes with the homie Ika Mouse in going against Moe's Rickety John. This should be a good showdown coming up. Let's check out that last race, the Yukon Allowance. Let's look at these horses a little bit, and let's see what happened.
Yeah, that was the only horse carrying weight, too. That's crazy.
Constellation carrying 2 weights, had 1.5 stars on soft, 2.5 stars on left and turf. Man, it was the S-. There were no higher tiers. You had another S-, and you had Sentinel Road down here. But like we said, he preferred the firm track, and he got the
star advantage.
Yeah, he did.
He's got a 1-star advantage, so I mean that could show something there.
Yeah, so the stars, the preferences of Space Cheese at A were not able to overcome the preferences of Constellation at S-, because there really is not a huge big difference there, and there is a big difference in ranking. You mean we're going A to S-, skipping A+, so this is like 2 levels ahead, so that's probably why that was a stronger horse. But it doesn't always end up that way, but it takes a little bit of trial and error, looking at post-race analysis a little bit to understand what happened so that you have a better idea of who to bet on in the next race.
To be fair, though, if you look at Grip the Carpet Shark, right, and you bring him up, if that horse was 10 to 12 furlongs, I don't think the same horse wins that race. And that again, that could show you right there that Grip the Carpet Shark is just a marathon runner, not a mid-race. It's not a sprinter. I mean, it dominated at 12 furlongs, and then 8 furlongs there, it blew a 93 with a better fleet figure at 79, but had a 93 late fleet figure there.
On a
So I'm
sloppy
telling you, man,
track.
yeah, honestly, yeah, I'm telling you, you put that horse on a 10, 11, 12 furlongs against the same horse, I think that horse wins.
Yeah, Grifter Carpet Shark does not look bad. I like that. I like him at 11 and 12 furlongs, like you said. All right, let's see who's in this Golden Rod Club Stakes. That's the one we were checking out earlier. We got 4 minutes, so we got enough time to get in and put another bet in before this race begins. Let's pull my clock up. Clock has not been working. Oh, it's back for me. That clock is glitchy. Sometimes it works for us and sometimes it doesn't. Looks like we got 4 minutes to pick a winner. Let me refresh. If you're looking at the races, sometimes it won't show all the races available. You have to refresh, see how the betting open ones were hidden there. Just refresh every once in a while when you get to that page if you don't see all the races that you're expecting to see. And did I mention this already, Mo? Whenever I go to the marketplace now, and several people mentioned this in the chat, a lot of time I've been getting an error message. Have you noticed that as well?
Yeah, and I think it's filter related.
Oh, filter related.
It seems to happen to me when I use one of my filters, my save filters. I select it from the drop down and like refresh the page, and I get that
Yep.
black and white client error page.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what causes that, but yeah, I was trying to tell somebody I knew yesterday, like, yeah, it's so easy, just go. And I'm like, you can even do it on mobile, because they was like, yo, I checked out, you and your buddy doing the racing on stream. So I was like, yeah. And again, he doesn't play horses or anything, and sent him all the stuff. And he was like, yeah, I just keep getting an error page. And I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, that's a new thing. I don't know what's up with that.
Of course, right? Yeah, it's like something new. It just started popping up. But
All right, guys, let's put a bet on this Blue Crab allowance before the next race starts. Me and Mo are both in this one. Mo's got a horse here named Be Kind Rewind. Looks like it's never raced before. I haven't seen this horse. We'll see how he does. Bigfoot Stables, that's Mo's stable. Wolof's got a horse in here named Diabolic. We got Jerry Hall from OEB. I don't need to go through all the names until it's almost race time. We just need to pick a winner. Let's check out the preferences. It's right turf and the conditions are good. So I'm looking for right turf firm, preferably. We got the S tier horse too, is preferring right turf firm. That's going to be a hard horse to beat in this race. Let's see who else is in here. Right turf firm, right turf firm. We got Fearless Hero as a dirt horse, so we're not going to bet on Fearless Hero. There's Revere Ranch. This is a soft horse though, so I might not bet on that one. And then my horse down here is Awkward Eye Contact. It is right dirt firm as well. It is also S tier. I'm really going to have to bet between Diabolic, me, and Wolof's horse. He's got 2 stars on turf, 2 stars on firm, 1.5 on right. I got 3 on right, 2 on dirt. I'm going with my horse. I'm going with Awkward Eye Contact. We watched this horse race last week for the first time, and in its first race ever, it got injured. And that kind of tells you something, that injuries don't just happen because maybe your horse is still exhausted or it hasn't been rested yet before you raced it. Sometimes injuries are just completely random, right, Mo? Since my horse got injured in its first race ever, that must mean that injuries can be random.
yeah, I think there's also a hereditary gene that also goes with injury. That's what I'm saying, man. Like Ian, I think just kind of, and I don't want to push him too much on, obviously, but yeah, he kind of just throws a little bit of insight into what they might be up to behind the scenes with these hidden traits and abilities that are happening with our horses. So it's cool, man.
I like
it's
how he's
definitely
talking
cool.
about looking into your horse's races to see whenever it kind of peaked, and then whenever
Yeah.
you try to breed it, try to find another horse that peaked at the same age, and then breed those 2 horses together. So I mean, there's even more in-depth research that you can do into making the best decisions for when it comes to breeding that I didn't even realize. And that's just one factor. You have to look at your preferences. You want to look at the distances that the horses race. You want to make sure you're not inbreeding, as people mentioned in the chat as well.
Yep.
One says, I'm done tonight, going back to playing GoldenEye on the Xbox. GoldenEye? That's not on the
Yeah, I
Xbox.
heard that got re-released, man.
What? It got re-released? GoldenEye?
Yeah.
Can I download it? Oh, I'm playing that tonight.
Is there online multiplayer on the Xbox version? I thought it was just on Switch version.
I didn't even
Could
know
be
that.
wrong.
I didn't even know you could play Gold. I haven't played GoldenEye since college, man. Oh man, we're gonna be playing GoldenEye. Oh, I can play with my kid. He's gonna think it's so funny. Like, this is, what kind of graphics are these? All right, guys, it's race time. Good luck if you're in this one.
It's funny because everyone's like, why isn't it on PlayStation? It's like, if anybody doesn't know the history between Sony and Nintendo, there's some history.
All right, race fans, fellow degenerates. It's post time. 12 horse field, full house. Everywhere you look. And away they go. Awkward start for Sir Vega, the favorite. See how that pans out for him, Cotton. But it's Manhands who got the better of it in front of Ika Mouse. And in third, that's Bandito showing good early speed early on here with Testaboom running along in fourth. And down on the rail, that's Rickety John in fifth with Banana Old Fashioned, and Ready Cash is in sixth as they make their way down the backstretch here. Opening quarter in 22 and change in the 6 furlong, right turning affair on the turf. And it's Bandito now. It's Bandito who shows the way by 2 lengths over Banana Old Fashioned. And it's Driven Snow on the far outside looking for room here as Rickety John doing the same down on the rail. And in between horses, 2 lengths off him, that's Manhands in fifth. Make that fourth as Ika Mouse now falls off the board here as they make their way off the turn and into the final stretch as it's half mile and 45 and change. And it's Banana Old Fashioned now who shows the way over Bandito down the middle of the track. And it's Manhands who's also looking for something here. And down on the rail, it's the magical bullet Rickety John as Banana Old Fashioned looking to hold on. But hold a minute, it's going to be Manhands. Yes, she had Manhands, wins it over Banana Old Fashioned and Rickety John.
Shout out to Manhands. Manhands gets the win from NA Stable. Ika Mouse comes in last place. I don't know, man. I don't know why or how or what. S plus tier. I don't know. She's one of the few horses dead last. S plus dead last.
Do we need the analysis? Do we got to look?
I mean, yeah, we got plenty of time. Let's check out some analysis. Maybe you can tell me. I'll let you do the analysis, and you tell me exactly why my horse didn't win that one. We got another Grade 2 coming up. We got 2 more races tonight. This Grade 2 is going to be a good one because we got the Joker running in the Grade 2. I've been trying to move him up in class a little bit. Let me pull up that last race. We're going to let Mo do a little bit of post-race analysis and tell me what happened there, Mo.
Let's take a little gander here, shall we? I thought Rickety John was going to take that up the rail, too, man. It's hard for me not to get excited when I see my horse. I'm calling it, but...
Go ahead, get excited. It's fine.
All right, so Ika Mouse. Let's see. Right Dirt Firm. All right, what are we running? We're running a yielding track, so, I mean... Oh, you're on the wrong surface, man. Okay. That was the easiest post-race analysis I've ever done in my life.
Well done. Well, I don't know. Oh, yeah, that happened because I try to get my horses into the races during the streams, but I don't like to run them against each other, and I was out of races. I forgot I did that. Yeah, okay.
Doc, it hurts when I touch here, and here. Man, you got a broken finger. Why did you not run good in this race?
That's why we got Mo, because Mo knows.
Oh, that's funny.
Apparently, he was running that dirt horse on a turf track. I didn't think it was going to affect him that much. I forgot that I was running him on the wrong conditions. I thought that maybe since he was an S+, or she was an S+, she'd be able to pull through. Same with this race here. I threw Joker into it so we could watch him race tonight, but it is on a turf surface, and he prefers dirt as well. It's really hard for me to get right dirt firm races between 7 and 9 p.m. There's always only like one between 7 and 9 p.m. And a lot of these are also like 40% chances of rain. So I try to get into those for the firm. And of course, it always ends up raining.
Yeah, I think one of the main issues with that is just allowing people to enter multiple horses into one race. So I think that's why we're seeing the lack of races like that, because if that wasn't to happen, you would probably have like 3 similar races going off in like a 2 to 3 hour time frame,
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's probably what's going on there. All right, well, let's check out the horses that are in this one. It's an 8 furlong. This is a Grade 2 race, so we should have some fast race horses in here. I got my homie Joker, one of my best horses. 5 wins so far for Joker, but he's not expected to do well here because he's running on a dirt surface. You never know. He might surprise you. That's right. Base Lab knows. Mo knows. Made of Money says, when does this go live? When this goes live, will it be wiped? Yes. So what happens is whenever this goes live, all the horses that exist now will be wiped. But whenever you own tickets that are actual NFTs on the Solana blockchain, you'll be able to bring those horses back. They'll start all the way over. The question is, will their stats change? This is what I was not sure about. Mo, does their stats change? So, like, I have Swamp Thing. This is a horse that I own the actual NFT for. He's already retired, and he came out with these stats and these preferences. Now, whenever he gets reset and I use my ticket again to bring him back when we go live, Mo, will he have the exact same stats and preferences as before, or is that randomized?
So I have looked into it, and I actually need to reach out to some other people. basically the way it works, right? So the horses, let's say you're like an A horse, right? Your horse is going to be A across the board, at least. And then based on your stats, you're going to be getting certain points into certain categories, right? So that's why each ticket has like preference boost and then ability boost points. So those points are all scattered into the different stats that we see when the horse retires, right? I'm pretty sure I've seen people in Discord say the stats were different. I really want to like sit down with somebody though and have them look. I know somebody had to screenshot what their old horse stats were at retirement as opposed to this time around, you know? I'm sure somebody did it.
I was going
Because,
to pull up
yeah,
Magic Eden to show you guys exactly what we're talking about, but I'm afraid it will crashes again and the race is about to start. Good luck if you're in it. We
yeah.
got 2 more races tonight.
To answer your question before I do this, I think they are going to change a little bit, but it's not going to be drastic. The boost is just going to go into a different category.
All right, horses are at the gate, and the Zach Ivers shut the hell up. Talking about Mo, obviously. Horses are in the gate. And away they go here in the Freshwater Invitational. And quick to the lead, there goes Bartoli along with Maccabi Fields. And it's all-wheel drive, who also shows girly speed down on the rail. And on fourth, that Cicero and Cheesy Poison is in between horses here in fifth, as Falsehood is back up in sixth early on, as they make their way into the clubhouse turn in this 8 furlong right turning affair on the turf. Opening quarter in the books, 23 and change, and all-wheel drive makes an early move and goes right on by Maccabi Fields to take the lead. Yoink, lead is mine as all-wheel drive now shows the way by 2 over Maccabi Fields. And on the outside, there's Cheesy Poison, who advances from the back of the pack, along with Hellcat, who now advances up in the third. It's Cinderella on the far outside in fifth here, and Bartoli, who's jockeying for position, with License to Ill, now runs along in sixth as they make their way into the final turn. Half mile is long and gone, 47 and change, as it's all-wheel drive still shows the way here in the rain. It's all-wheel drive over Maccabi Fields, but the lead is dwindling, and just like that, awkward eye contact alert. It's Maccabi Fields who pulls up alongside all-wheel drive, but all-wheel drive has repelled the lead yet again, as all-wheel drive now shows the way by 1 length over Maccabi Fields, who's driving in for one more final push. As we make our way past the 16th pole, it's all-wheel drive, past the big cement balls in the background. It's all-wheel drive, looks to hold on here over Maccabi Fields. It's going to be all-wheel drive taking this one over Maccabi Fields and License to Ill.
Shout out to Wimbledon. GVT Turf gets the win with all-wheel drive. Seems like the 2 horses keep winning tonight. I've seen a lot of 2 horses win. That's a good question. Base Lab says, what's the value of the current tickets? Does it matter what tier? Yeah, the higher tier, the more expensive they are. And those S-tier tickets for S-tier horses that are actually tickets on the blockchain, those are super expensive. I don't know. What do the prices look like right now, Mo? We got 17 seconds before our last race.
I mean, you can get males for like what, 7, maybe 7 for like a B plus or a B. But again, they're not really gonna be useful until claiming. If you want to go like maybe like an A, like a good A horse, A plus. I have like maybe like 17, 20 Solana. There's like baseline for like an A plus.
We don't know how much that is. How much? How much is that in
Oh,
cash?
sorry. Yeah, Solana's like what, 24 right now, so figure like 480.
All right, good luck, y'all.
If you want a Philly, yep, good luck. Even more.
All right. Here for the nightcap. On the turf, finally got rid of the rain. And they're off here in the Blue Crab allowance as Diabolic shoots out to the lead along with Jerry Hall as these two run 1-2 early on. And it's awkward eye contact doing just that with Tennessee Frisky also doing just that with a little handsy there early on. And it's Beacon Rewind and the Alejandro runner in the green silks runs along in 6 as they make their way into the clubhouse turn here in this 12 furlong right turning affair on the turf. And it's Jerry Hall now, who kicks clear by 2 over Be Kind Rewind, running his first race. And it's awkward eye contact now on the far outside, still with Tennessee Frisky. These two are joined at the hip. And bad step here by Jerry Hall as he taps on the brake, as Be Kind Rewind will take advantage now and goes for the lead. And a break of 2, that's Tennessee Frisky, who jockeys for position with awkward eye contact, who's down the center of the track. And back to the inside, it's Diabolic, who starts to advance. And Jerry Hall now looks to regain his footing and moves back into 5th. And it's a break of 4 back to the last pack of 3, headed by Elbowed, who's got about 10 to make up here. As they make their way into the clubhouse turn once again, it's Tennessee Frisky's your new leader, as VK Rewind has resorted to 2nd place here and stalks the pace. And it's awkward eye contact, looking for one more good rally, but about 5 wide on the track, as he's got 3 to make up here from the leader. And just like that, he jets his way to the front. And this awkward eye contact now is your new leader. But insert coin, here comes new challenger. It's Diabolic and Jerry Hall looking to make this one race, as this trio now has headed up the race to the top. And it's Diabolic now who pokes a nose in front. It's Diabolic and Jerry Hall are 1-2. Awkward eye contact is looking to take 3rd, but he's got some room to go, as it's 1 mile in the book, as Diabolic is your leader here into the final turn. And it's Diabolic and Jerry Hall back and forth, 1-2. It's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but it's Jerry Hall now who regains the lead. Jerry Hall and Diabolic, a fight for the ages, Tyson and Ali, but it's Diabolic now who got the better of it into the home stretch. Diabolic takes him home by 2 and kicks clear, but Jerry Hall is looking for one more bit of energy. And from the center of the track is Tennessee Frisky, but this has turned into a 1-horse race, as Diabolic is going to take home the nightcap over awkward eye contact and Elbowed. 2-9-4 is your order of finish.
Shout out to Wolof the Bandito, friend of the stream, gets the win with Diabolic. Awkward eye contact, put up a good fight and ended up taking 2nd there at the end. I like that horse. That's one of my new horses, and I like him at 12. I might start trying him at other distances, but he seems to run really well at 12. Shout out to Wolof the Bandito, gets the win there. All right, guys, that's going to be the last race for Friday night races, but as we do every weekend, we'll be live again Saturday night for Saturday night at the races, and tomorrow night's going to be fun because it's Foals Day. I got some new horses that are going to be able to race. I'll be able to race my new S Plus Hot Sauce for the first time ever tomorrow. I'm excited about that. Also, I have 3 horses that are pregnant that will be giving birth. We'll be able to check out their foals and see if they got anything good coming. My horse Cheesy Hair, I was able to breed with a horse from Solonot Stable, so I'm really pumped about this horse in particular, and Harley Quinn will be giving birth to her first foal. Shout out to Mo Knowz. Great job on the calls, Mo, and great jobs interviewing our guests as well, man. I appreciate you, bro. Great job tonight.
Hey, man, tag team effort, bro. I just want to try to get some race calls in. I hate when I cut people off, but I feel like we did good, man. We're good, good cop routine, and I feel like it went well. So appreciate you and appreciate chat, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
Absolutely, 100%. We'll be live again at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night for some more horse racing on Photo Finish Live on the Solana blockchain. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Later.
Peace.